Hey, hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? How is everybody? This evening. Okay, sorry. Somebody just like literally texted me back. I've been like trying to text them for forever. Sorry, guys. How are you guys doing? Hello, hello, hello. All right, let us. Hey, Kirk, I understand you got to go to work. I'm so sorry you have to work in 30 minutes. Hopefully, you can get a good chunk of this conversation. I certainly hope. Hey, WG, how are you? Sebastian, how are you, love? Hello. Hello. Hey, Shakima, greetings, everyone. Oh, okay, warrior girl. Okay, good to know. Hey, Lola Lane, how are you, darling? Signas. Okay, I have to figure out who that is, dear. Oh, good, Kenzie. I'm so glad everybody's good. Hello, 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 Angelia. So, I'm gonna phase this music out a little bit here, guys. Happy Memorial Day. For those that don't know, right, Memorial Day is the day that we honor the fallen warriors, the fallen folks, the fallen armed servicemen and women who have fallen in battle. And so, but I also do use this day to honor those that are either current or past servicemen or women, and thank you all for your service. Freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. And this is something that I think that we had all better recognize pretty quick, because our own very freedoms are at risk and at stake right now, even including the pursuit of life, love, and happiness, right? Is there a time? So, yeah. Anyway, but I know that it's been a while since I've had like a kind of open panel discussion about things, and I wanted to have at least part of that discussion today, because as I entitled this video, Finding Courage in Chaos is very, very important. And we are not going to, I just want to openly state right now, we are not going to see a calming down of chaos. I don't think anytime very soon. So what do we do in regards to that, and how do we navigate through this? Okay. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Hey, Girl Talk. Hey, Melinda J. Thank you. Hello, chronically ill. Okay. Chronically ill. I am going to, guys, I'm going to ask chronically ill to come up first. We're going to have a little bit of discussion, and then I'm going to open it to everyone. Okay. So don't think that I am not opening up to everyone. But I'm going to, chronically ill, if you can use this link really quick, and we can get started. We're going to have everybody up here. Trust me. Hey there, Malika. Hey, honey. Thank you so much for coming. Hey, Cericia. How are you? Kirk says you can't love those who you want to. You can't love those who you want to. I don't feel free. Interesting, Kirk. I find that interesting. Thank you, love. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Who else do we have? Who else do we have? Okay. All right. And then we are going to open it up to everyone. So just so you guys know, I had to avoid certain letters and certain words in the YouTube talk. Thanks so much, dear. Thank you, honey. just because I wanted to be able for this to actually get out, right? So guys, please share this video because we're gonna be here for a hot minute. Okay, we're gonna be here for a minute. And let's have some grown folk talk. When I say that there's chaos going on in all the realms around the realms, we all know about the Uvalde mass. I'm just going to call it what it is, and hopefully this doesn't get demonetized. If it does, it does. School shooting, 19 children, and I believe we're up to 2 teachers. Before that, it was what, Baltimore? Yes, the Baltimore shooting with the supermarket shooting. 10. There was just earlier today, I saw where was this? Hold on, guys. I got to go to my Yahoo News. I don't care about politics because these people are pissing me the frick off. What did this happen? Where did this happen? Where did this happen? Uvalde. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. There was just someone that drove their car through car driven through in Nebraska. Proud in Nebraska. Is it Nebraska, I think? Yep, here we go. Let me share this, guys. Is there actual? Okay, here we go. I'm going to start sharing some things. We're going to start reading things off. Chronically ill, are you going to be able to come up or no? All right. Let's do this here. Nope, this here. Chrome tab. Okay, here we go. Deadly Nebraska crash, at least 2 dead, 19 injured after cars slam into pedestrian crowd. This was near an Americruise event. Let's see what we've got going on. Authorities in Lincoln, Nebraska responded to a mass casualty incident Sunday evening. So this just happened last night, where at least 2 people are dead and many other are believed to be injured after multiple vehicles crashed and rolled into a crowd of people. 2 female victims were declared dead at the scene. Both believed to be occupants of the vehicles. 19 others has been hospitalized. 1 is in critical condition at this time, and 18 others non-life-threatening issues. Chaos. We're going to stop sharing this one. Let's start sharing. Let's look up the Uvalde shooting. Again, I can't stand them. Let's go with the post. Okay. Now, the Uvalde incident is very trigger warning. Trigger warning. For any of us who have children in school, grandchildren, brothers, sisters, to me, if you're just a normal human being, the thought of a gunman being able to enter into a school facility, opening fire, police not responding, like not going in, stopping other law enforcement from going in, and parents from going in is beyond crazy. And I'm focusing on that very specifically because I think we need to also identify how we got to this point where those that are here to protect and serve are no longer protecting and serving the public, not all, but the fact that this could happen, the ramifications of this, and I'm actually going to tie this into some things that I'm seeing with the current potential monkeypox issues. Now, new images show terrified kids sprinting from the Uvalde school massacre. So, there's dramatic new images from the Uvalde, Texas school massacre showing cops pulling scared children from the windows. All of a sudden, now we see police, right? Meanwhile, a crazed gunman, was in the school. Okay, we're gonna welcome Lola and yep, you're there, honey. Welcome to the show. And we're waiting for oh, here she is. Here's Chocolate Earth as well. Hey, sweetheart. As soon as you guys can hear me.
Yep. How are you?
I'm well. We're gonna bring Sebastian up here in a minute. I want us to let me read these articles, guys. And then
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yep. Hi, Sebastian. I can sure hear you, honey. Thank you. I want to get these. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. Hopefully it's better now. It's a little bit better. I really wish there was a way to, I guess that's the only way I can do this. I'm gonna have to learn a new way of doing life here because this is just irritating. Neither StreamYard nor Restream has a good way to share this kind of stuff where we can see it, right? Local cops and U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents are seen in the images, helping open a window, to help kids with visible looks of terror on their faces. Previous videos show desperate parents pleading with officers to storm the building as cops appeared to stand back outside. I want to put out here too as well, I've heard through various reports that they were literally told to stand down. They were literally told by some nebulous sergeant, somebody higher up than them, to stand down.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was the CBP and parents that actually stormed the building, and it was a Border Patrol officer that actually unalived the shooter.
Who's also a parent, I believe. I think he's also a parent.
Yes, we're not sure whether or not that's the same parent that unalived him, or if it was a different Border Patrolman. Okay, we got somebody just. Let's make sure I got an echo. So, I mean, I love listening to my own voice clearly, but someone's got an echo here.
I think it's CE.
Okay, Chocolate Earth, I just muted you, sweetie. If you could just plug your headphones in. And then you should be able to unmute yourself, I think. Hey, Corey. Hey, sweetheart. We're gonna bring you up to here. Let me drop the link so you can come up as well. So we're not sure because I'm hearing conflicting, right? I do know the parent went in there because his wife, I guess, was working in the school, Sebastian, and texted him. He was getting his hair cut at one of the local barbers, and he didn't even have his firearm with him. He got the barber's shotgun and took it and raced over to the school, is my understanding. However, local law enforcement not only was told, let me just kind of stop sharing this for a second, was not only told to stand down, but my understanding as well, do we have everybody up? Okay, good. My understanding as well is that they had engaged the 18-year-old prior to the 18-year-old being able to get into the the school. There's conflicting stories as to whether or not they knew that he had already unalived his grandmother and did not engage, like fully engage him, arrest him. Like he's in like Kevlar and all this stuff, right? Clearly not someone that's just out for a stroll somewhere. Welcome, Corey, to the show.
Hi.
Hi, honey. And they engaged him and let him go. There was only one door that, to my understanding, that was unlocked in the school, because my first initial reaction was, why was there even an unlocked door to the school, period? I don't care if you're having last day situations, whatever, whatever you're having, graduations, whatever the situation is.
Exactly.
Why was there? So my understanding is that there was one singular unlocked door. Welcome to the show, Chronicles.
Hey,
honey. And that he managed to somehow get in that door.
I also heard a teacher escaped. I mean, few faculty members left the school.
Prior to the incident?
During the incident.
Okay. We'll set that aside for a second. The reason why I'm focusing on this, then I also want to focus a little bit on some of the background that I've understood. I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the supermarket shooting happened in Baltimore. Am I right or wrong?
Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York. Okay, so I knew it happened over on the East Coast. There are some very interesting behind the scenes, like tinfoil hat components to these situations that I don't want to get lost in the sauce, because it is the timing of all this, the methodology of all this, the fact that we know now in the Buffalo incident, in the Buffalo shooting, that the FBI not only knew who the shooter was, but had been in contact with said shooter.
In the Buffalo one?
Yes. They not only knew who this person was, they had been in contact with them on what appears to me to be a fairly regular basis. Like, this wasn't just somebody that was flying under the radar and all of a sudden just pops up. This is someone they already knew because of either social media posts or whatever, that there was a potential for this person to commit an act of terror.
Yes.
indeed.
Now, I want you to also know that the police officer, the retired police officer in the Buffalo case, it has now come out that he was merely days away from unveiling and or being able to get a patent on a car motor that runs off water. Let this sit for a second. So you create, you go ahead, you know who this person is. You don't do anything to stop this from happening. The person cased out the supermarket for days. For days.
Exactly.
And then miraculously, one of the 10 people who were murdered have a revolutionary invention that could topple or reconfigure the entire economy.
Exactly.
In the Uvalde case, and you guys can go back and correct me if I'm wrong. I want somebody to prove me wrong. In the Uvalde case, it is very interesting that there's some reports that potentially this person could have been somewhat on the radar, somewhat not. It happens in a border town, and all of a sudden there's one singular door. How did that young man know what door was unlocked? He attended that school. He's 18. How many freaking years has it been since he attended the school? If you felt bullied all this time, I'm not invalidating bullying, but this all doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
Right.
It's not adding
Who
up.
hasn't been bullied as a child?
Exactly.
Right.
Like-
Well, not only that, I mean, that's the typical. Are you with us again now? Are you able? Chocolate Earth, are you there, sweetie? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm leaving her unmuted just so that she can jump back in just in case. But that's the typical response or explanation that these individuals have been bullied, and I'm not discounting or invalidating what that can do to a mind of a child.
It can do a lot.
However, this is the first school shooting, I will say, mass shooting, true mass shooting that we have seen with someone of Black or brown descent.
Yeah.
And now you have
Yeah.
these officers of the law that are supposed to go in here and put their lives in the midst of this, right? They're supposed to put their lives on the line to protect and serve. And they're like, yeah, can't go in. They're really not in danger. I'm sorry, sirs. They were shooting outside.
Exactly.
And you know what gunshots sound like. Like, it's a very distinct sound. And then
You
not
should.
even that. I understand when you mentioned that they were told to stand down, but at what point do we owe it to ourselves and our character to do something about it? Because I personally would not be able to sleep at night if I knew that I stood by and let some children get shot up. Like, I personally could not sleep at night. That's not the way my heart and my conscience is set up. That's just me personally.
Exactly.
I'm having issues. I'm good now. Hi, I'm back.
Okay, excellent.
All right.
Excellent. We're going to get to that character issue too, because now you might love me and you might hate me by the time we get done here. I don't know.
Exactly. Me too. I have a lot of things to say too.
I don't know. But I'm going to propose to everyone today that this level of chaos did not start here. That this level of chaos, there's a cycle to it, and it's just been ratcheted up at this point. That some of the very things that we were dealing with 2019, 2020, and then I'm going to ask you all to go back. Now, y'all going to have some research to do by the time you're done, but I'm going to ask y'all to go back and find one of these mass shootings that has occurred outside of either a major economic attempt to reset, a major health crisis, either just ending or getting ready to begin. And I'm going to ask you, this is going to piss some people off. I just need to wake you up. I want you to find one of these school shootings or mass shootings that has happened outside of I'm just going to put it out there, a Democrat president. I'm not saying, now I want you to hear me. I'm not saying either side is good. Hear me.
Right.
I'm saying that there tends to be one side that will ratchet up and try to get us on the precipice of race and class wars and subjugate us to a level of fear that only then brings that group in as the saviors and let us make sure that we can just take control of the whole situation. When I said freedom ain't free, take control of the situation.
Yes.
It's kind of like you start the fire and then you put it out to look like the hero.
100.
Yes.
Well, yeah, of course. That's how they set it up. Fear is it.
So I want y'all to find, if somebody can find me, and listen, I'll own it. Now I'm going to exclude, the reason why I'm going to exclude 9/11 is because of this. I'm talking about citizens invoking that. Now, My theories about 9/11, but we're gonna leave that alone for another day because I can't do too many conspiracies in one.
Girl,
Yes.
I have
That
a lot of theories too. I have a lot
that
of
upside down
Listen,
book
I'll
of
go down the
horror.
road with you. Listen, I'll go down the street with you because this is true.
we got a whole lot of conspiracies going on. I can't get them all.
Hello, yes.
And I'm going to tell you who's going to this is what I am going to tell you, that the next group that's going to be ginned up and trying to get into attack mode is the LGBTQ community. And how do I even know this? Because let me tell you all something. I think some of us are of a certain age. Some of us may not be old enough to recall this. I'm hearing that the whole monkeypox situation, not only are they saying that it is transmitted by intimate contact.
Great.
Mhm.
Yes, it's just like the when HIV came on the scene.
Ooh, ding, 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 ding. Girl, you stole my thunder, child. But listen, they
And
Oh, I'm
also
sorry.
airdrop.
saying,
I'm
but,
sorry. I'm be quiet.
but they also saying that it is being transmitted via same sex, the homosexual male population.
I don't think that's true.
I'm
Yes,
just
Lord.
listen,
Well, I
wait.
knew that
I didn't
one.
say it was true, baby.
Oh,
But they
okay,
also
okay.
said it was airborne too.
Yeah, but that's some of the bull crap they tried to say. See, I'm old enough. I was 18 years old in 1980. When was I 17 and 19? Don't get me to land. I was 17 years old in 1985. I was 18 years old in 1986. 1986. Some of you may or may not know. I'm just going to give you a very quick history lesson. That was
Right.
the that was when all of a sudden this is now a pandemic, right? This
Yes.
is an epidemic.
Yep.
Nobody knew at that
Yep.
point, and the reason why I'm so intimately involved at this point, let me just tell you, I was in Chicago. I was doing internships as a pre-med student at Cook County Hospital in Chicago. Okay,
Period, Lisa.
so and I was studying biochemistry. So this was a thing for me. Like, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? In fact, as a result of the summer of 1986, at that point, I actually wanted to go into AIDS research because as I was looking at everything, just what was being put in like Time magazine and other things, and I'm reading publications and, medical journals, I'm like, this does not make sense. This appears to me like somebody has genetically engineered a virus to do these things.
Right. I agree with you.
Lisa, you're about to get a lot of hate, but I agree with you 100%.
I agree with her.
I agree with
Because
you.
people been having sex and there's been homosexuals since the beginning of time. The Romans used to have orgies, and even the male Roman soldiers would have their little side piece that happened to be male. So it's all these years of these homosexual activities, and it's like now this crazy virus came out that makes no sense.
Exactly.
Exactly. I agree with you.
So,
Whenever you guys are ready, I got that info for us.
okay.
Boop.
Okay. So, when it first hit, and I'm living through this, right? I'm in Cook County Hospital. Nurses went on strike and everything. Why?
Really?
Because nobody knew if
Yeah.
it was airborne or not. We weren't sure how it was actually getting around. Does this sound familiar? We weren't sure how this,
Yeah.
how was it being contracted? And at first, the nurses were heralded as the saviors and the frontline people, and then all of a sudden now they're being derided and they're being chastised. And so they went on strike. I know this sounds familiar to you all because we do have a nursing shortage right now, in case you all did not know that. Anyway, so
Yep.
what
Yep.
had happened was prior to that, there was some sort of flu that had happened. And then here comes HIV. And as Kirk said, Lyme's disease as well. But then it starts getting, and then they're saying, oh, well, this is the gay man's disease. Because at that point, it was mainly in that community. And then it started migrating to the heterosexual community. They wanted to say it was because of drug use. Let me tell you something. It wasn't that. It was, here we go again, the DL men. Anyway, we're going to leave that alone. No, I'm not going to get on them. 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 This is not the show. But anyway. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. But anyway, it was migrating into the heterosexual community. And then it was in the blood in 1986, what is that? It was an HBO special, and the band played on. I want to say maybe it was Phil Collins was in it. I think. Anyway,
Yes. Yes.
that was when. Yeah, amazing. The old mind can remember. That was when it hit the blood. I'm gonna tie all this together, y'all, because we got to see all the pieces to how they're trying to move all of us into a combatant situation amongst each other, and not look at what the real bull crap that they're doing. So,
Oh yeah.
then
Mhm.
it was, and I'm reading all these papers, and I'm like, okay, percentage wise, no shade, no tea. Percentage wise, the number of gay men that would have been contributing to the blood supply, right, donating blood, would not have been high enough. Even at 17, 18, I knew this, would not have been high enough for all of a sudden this to be pervasive throughout the entire blood supply of the entire country. Statistically impossible.
Yep.
So who's putting it in the blood so that then it can continue to spread? But they labeled it as this. They created fear surrounding it. They were like, we're going to create vaccines for it. This is when the good doctor that begins with an F,
We're not gonna
when he was doing experiments, you all, experiments on Black children, experimenting with Black orphaned or foster care children, injecting them with the disease to see what would happen. You can look that up yourself. I am not lying.
Yep.
And this here now is the same man.
And as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, that was scary.
Yep. The same players. It don't change.
What year was this?
Yep.
It would have been in the 80s, the mid 80s.
Like
So
86.
yeah. The movie
you
came out in
even thought of.
1986. I feel like he started those experiments in 1984, 1985, into 1986. They're also saying, now, if you want to even go back further, to the Tuskegee experiments and all of this, it's very interesting to me, first of all, how they always want to put this off on somewhere on the African continent, as if we, leave the damn monkeys alone. They ain't messing with nobody. And
They
we
go
ain't messing with
there.
them.
They go
Well,
there and
But they don't want
experiment.
to talk about. They don't want to talk about how syphilis started in England, though. They don't want to talk about that in the UK.
they don't.
The first case.
Well, Black women were one of the first to be used. You can go even further back, especially here when they started really getting into studying medicine. Black women were used as trial. Like they used how we worked, our bodies, what we look like, the whole nine.
Yes.
A lot of the different things that are going on right now that we have to this day is based off of our DNA.
Especially
Absolutely.
the abortion topic, because that's they used to use
I'm ready when I am ready for this conversation.
I mean, gynecology as a whole was built on the back of Black slave women. They used to experiment on them.
Sure was.
Don't forget about Henrietta Lacks and how they took cells from her to create the treatments that we now use.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm gonna set that health
why
crisis
I heard
over
that.
here. I don't want y'all to ever forget though either. When there was oh God, what is it? The darn flu that they keep wanting to make the Ronas like.
The bird flu?
No, the Spanish was it Spanish?
Oh yeah, the Spanish flu. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
When after the Spanish flu, I believe came like smallpox or something else. Like after every virus, then there comes something that they want to push that's deadly, or they want to make it seem deadly. Only now with the internet, it's harder because now we're all sharing information. So what do they have to do? They have to get us in a status of what? Fear. And then a status of what? Fearing each other. What did we spend 2 years doing? fearing talking to one another, fearing being around one another, fearing seeing each other smile, fearing seeing anybody being in each other's presence, fearing hugging each other. Everything, human contact was cut off.
Well, fear is a good motivator.
Absolutely, and it's the easiest way to control.
And make as much money as possible.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. People are not going to get the, pokey pokies. Why? Well, A, lot of us have already either had it or we've already determined we're not taking that. B, there's way too much information now coming out. All you have to do is open your eyes, guys, and listen to and this, I'm not deriding anybody. Listen to other alternative people that are coming out and speaking. There's some that are actually right here on YouTube that are showing you study after study in real time, and these are real doctors and scientists, of the ramifications, the side effects of the pokey pokies, especially the boosters, and what it's doing to people.
Especially in teenagers.
Especially in teenagers, anyone that's already had heart issues. I have personal friends who have existing heart issues, and I'm like, this is not the thing you should do. This is just not it.
It's
my doctor. This is not it. And now a few of them, more than a few of them, are having horrific AFib. They cannot control it any longer. And the doctor's like, oh, I don't understand. What the hell do you mean you don't understand? This has been the biggest mass clinical trial I've ever seen in my life. With people being willing to do it. Why? Because they invoked such fear. I'm not saying that it didn't exist, guys. I'm not saying that at all. Anyway, let me go back. Chocolate Earth, what do you have? Because we did.
We were talking about what you had stated before about the mass shootings and the different presidents, right? So because I love to research, I love it. So right now, so under administration, I don't know if anybody remembers, the first one was under Lyndon Johnson. That was the University of Texas.
Wow.
17 dead, more than 30 were injured. That is under Lyndon Johnson.
What was the date? What was the date?
1966.
Do you have a date? Do you have a date?
A date
like
of when
it? Date of the year. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 19 day and year. Hold on, I can get it for you.
Why did they credit that white girl for killing? Remember the one with the sniper in the 70s? It was like 78 for shooting those kids across the street from her house. She lives across the street from a school. That's where they got that song Manic Monday.
I think I know what you're talking about, and I really think that was under Ronald Reagan. I don't think that was under Lyndon Johnson, but that was the first one.
No, that was under Ford.
Oh, okay.
It was late 70s.
I guess they didn't consider it as mass shootings. So, like, to your point, okay, Barack Obama had the most, and that was because we had the Pulse nightclub. That was a mass event that they shot up that club. There was 24 mass shootings during that 4-year period. Well, 8 years. Trump had 4, but he had the most. He had more than, there were 58 who passed, 83 who passed, and 512 people were injured. That was under the music festival where the guy was able to go into the hotel with all these, it was like AR-15s, and he was shooting from his window. I had just went to Vegas.
Supposedly.
Yes. So allegedly, this is what took place. And then when you stop and think about it, especially with, I've worked with children since I was a children, and the fact that the way they handled this one was absolutely horrible. The police who did show up, they got their own kids out first, and then they held off parents.
Yeah, they tased
different parents.
I want to say 2 fathers for trying to go in and get their kids
They
out.
took this woman down. They took her down because they're like, why are you standing around? They stood around for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Now,
While there's still
now,
gunshots going on.
exact, like if that had been child, if that had been anybody darker than that, I'm gonna say that that would have been a totally different situation, and we know it. That's the sad thing. The evidence is there because you can go back to see how they would handle an active shooter in any other scenario. But because again, they're brown. Look what they did for Parkland. They didn't do nothing. They didn't change reform because of Parkland. So I'm like, I'm not surprised that they weren't taken care of because they don't even take care of their own.
But they were trying, every time they do this, and then they try to take more Second Amendment rights away. Okay? Every time they do it. It's not for nothing else, except for the fact that this time, by them doing it this way, because I'm hard pressed to remember, so I will stand corrected on the first statement. I'm hard pressed to remember another true mass shooting. And by what I mean by true mass shooting is this. The shooting that happened in Texas last year, young man was bullied on the playground, got the gun, came back, and very specifically shot at least one or two, and then a stray hit somebody else. So they changed the laws about 3 years ago now that a mass shooting is now 3 or more people. I mean, not that anybody, but I don't consider 3. I don't consider that mass. But anyway, they changed that because honestly, if you kind of are in our neighborhoods, you know, unfortunately, it's going to be fewer, right? Because it just is. Like for us, schools have always been off limits.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Schools have always been off limits.
And I will.
The way it's been.
But I have to share this with you. I'm here in North Carolina, and my niece just told me that they sent a letter. Now, this is for children who are 6 and under, that they're now going to have clear backpacks because a child brought an arm to school. This just happened. Like, just sent a letter. And so it's like, I will say this, and I'm pushing back just a little bit hard on the gun reform. I don't understand why a 18-year-old can go and get a weapon of this caliber that quickly. I don't understand why I don't
just
get
changed
that.
the laws. That's why.
Texas did that on purpose. Texas changed that law on purpose.
Texas is not the only one that now has constitutional carry.
Right. And that's fine. But we have more guns in this country than we have people. Like for real, like you can go and like nobody's going to check me out if I go to the event or the trade show. I can just true. Get anything.
Depends on the state you're in.
Can I say something?
Of course. And I agree to that point. I just think that I think they need to change the age. I think they need to have background checks, and I don't think it just should be criminal. I also think it should be psychological in a certain sense. I don't know. I don't have a complete idea as to how you gauge that because it's not like you can't lie, but something has to be done. Because this is ridiculous.
Okay,
I have
so
a quick
I'm gonna let that go.
question,
Sebastian.
Sorry.
No, we're gonna come back to that because I'm very strong 2A. Go ahead, Lola.
I just have a really quick question. We don't trust 18-year-olds to drink. The drinking limit is 21 in this country, but we trust them to buy firearms. I just don't get it. For me, it just doesn't make sense in that area.
And we can put them into the military, so you can go and die for your country.
Yeah, I was going to say,
hold on one second. You have enough sense to sign up and be in the military and possibly sacrifice your life, but not enough sense to drink. I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. I feel like in order to get a license to drive, it's a very rigorous process. You have to show written, you have to show that you know the logic behind driving, understanding the laws of the road, the signs, traffic lights, all that stuff. You also have to prove that you can drive before you get the license in order to be able to drive a car. So my thing is, why is the process of getting a driver's license much harder than getting a gun? And I do think that, I don't think guns should be taken away, but I do think it should be stricter as far as you have to have all your marbles. I'm sorry. You have to have all your marbles. A blind
Right.
person can't drive because they're obviously impaired and do not have all the abilities to drive. If you are mentally impaired, you should not have a gun. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. So wait, hang on one second. Sebastian.
Yes, I want to say something about the Texas thing. I know the law. I know their laws very well, similar to mine. I know them at the same point of mine. In Texas, the issue is you can get at 18, you can't get a handgun. You can't get a handgun, but you can get an AR because most crimes are done with regular concealed handguns. Even mass shootings most of them are done with handguns. And also, there are red flag laws in Texas. If you do have psychological things, they do come up. If you do have criminal past, they do come up. Right now, I think they do need to increase certain red flags, such as social media should be a big factor into why you can purchase a gun or not. Should be a big factor into why you can purchase a gun or not.
Okay, Corey, you're at, I've seen here. Okay, one's gone. Okay, go ahead, dear. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
And also, you should. I don't think increasing the age will stop the problem. I really don't, because even the drinking thing, you go to college campuses, you see 17, 18, 19-year-olds wasted as hell over there. I don't think raising the age will stop the problem. I do think we should have courses you should be going through courses and gun safety courses in order to be able to get the license to own a firearm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to say this, please. Dear Dana, I am so sorry for your loss and for all of your losses. My heart goes out to you, and as I'm sure all of our hearts go out to you.
Yeah.
We do not want to trigger you, so please, we're not trying to trigger you. If you want to come up and join the discussion, you're more than welcome to. So I hope that we don't do anything. We're not definitely trying to say anything that is going to be, you know what I'm saying? So please, I'm just letting you know that. And
we're all coming from a place of respect.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I just want to make you aware of that, and I am aware of where you're lost. It's very
my
different.
heart goes out to you, Dana. Yeah.
Mental health.
Sorry.
That's okay. And she also says mental health needs to be at the forefront of our country. Absolutely.
I agree completely 100%. With that.
Absolutely. Chronicles, you've been waiting to speak. Go ahead, honey.
Well, I've been doing research on the mass shootings, and what I found it's very disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
I see 947 shot and wounded, 1,363 shot and killed, and 10 per mass shootings throughout the years of 2009, 2010, 2011, 2020, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, and 21, and so on. See, this is where my question comes in. Should civilians even be carrying weapons? I mean, wouldn't it make sense to avoid these tragedies, to restrict these weapons to only law enforcement and military personnel?
Okay. We're going to park that one because I'm a very strong 2A. So we're going to park that. And I want to let Corey come in too. But we're going to, I want to address the 2A portion of this. And then I also want us to kind of look at the alignment of when these things happen as to the alignment of when they're doing other stuff. I feel very strongly they are sacrificing civilians so that they can go off and do some other things because we're not
I
paying
agree with you.
attention, right?
Yep, I agree. You 100% right.
Morgan says, Dana, I agree with you 100% because I'm mildly retarded, and state of Missouri only cares about their handicapped children and adults, not from people who move from California to Missouri. Wow. That is crazy. That's crazy, Morgan. Corey,
Yes.
the floor is yours, darling.
Well, all of this is, like you were saying earlier with the HIV and AIDS stuff. I was about maybe 11, 12, 6th grade. It was scary. They wanted to scare us. And then we were just coming off the heels of Reaganomics.
We were still in the midst of it. We were still in the midst of it because I ran out of financial aid my senior year of college. I ran out of due to a lot of the changes that were made. That's a whole complete aside. Like, that's my least favorite president of the world.
Oh,
like,
definitely. I cried.
My absolute least favorite president, because
that is my favorite president.
What are we? How can we say this?
For
Because
what? Time out. Sebastian, how is he your favorite president? For what?
He's the reason why I'm American. It's because my family migrated to this country during the Reagan administration.
Yeah, but you were gonna be able to come here, period. Though that has nothing to do with no individual president. You're
exactly.
You're circumstance.
No, due to their status, they got he passed his mass immigration bill, and they were traveling.
That he did. Now, guys, hang on one second. I can say that he is my least favorite president, and I guarantee you, y'all will all drop off of here when I tell you who my second most favorite is. But I guarantee you will.
I bet I know.
I'll be able to stand 10 toes down in everything that I say and all the reasons why. But we like or dislike presidents, and during their, I'm beginning to call them regimes at this point, during their tenure in office,
starting to feel like it,
because of different reasons. So I can honor Sebastian in that was significant, and I'm so glad. I'm thankful, of course, that you were able to become a citizen.
No, not me. My grandparents.
Your grandfather. Right. So I'm very thankful, right, for the positive impact he had on your family. I can honor that, while at the same time saying he fucked me over. So anyway,
he sure did. Sebastian, you didn't live through the Reagan years, baby.
That is hilarious.
That is true.
But I can honor that. Like, that's what I want us to all remember, especially here.
Promoted genocide in El Salvador and Honduras and Nicaragua.
Who? I thought I heard my name. Who called Chocolate Earth? Who was that? No one? Okay, maybe I just heard it in my head. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm special.
The promotion of genocide goes way.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know what?
We talked the body count of President Obama.
Yeah, a lot of people went out of here, and I will say this.
But we talk about Reagan, though. That's why.
But I understand why. I grew up in the Reagan years. My mom, my first president, me and my sister was just talking about this. Already have lived through 5 presidents. Wow. So it's like when you look at it in that term, I voted every time since the age of 18. I have always voted. But my thing is, when discussing politics with my people, and please don't get offended, anyone, but you may, I'm not sure. Policy is what I look for.
Yes.
They have a job to do. I didn't vote for Obama because he was Black. I voted for Obama because I did not want the Republican runners that was in there. Would you want Mitt Romney to be the president of the United States?
Oh, not Mittens. Anybody but Mittens.
And so when I look at policy, that is where we kind of miss the mark. Like, when we discuss it, we should know the policies that these particular people and their administration are pushing.
Right, but who's
Right.
not voting based on policy? I'm confused. Who
Oh,
doesn't vote
child.
based on
Honey,
policy?
A lot of
listen.
people. I
A
did
lot of
vote
folks.
policy.
What?
I did vote
I'm sorry.
policy.
I'm sorry. In my
I
household, we
did.
educate ourselves. In
She
my
got
household,
jokes.
oh my god. In my household, we educate ourselves based on policy. I
Where
don't
you go?
understand.
But see here,
I
there you
don't.
go. But you have to though, because I'm gonna tell you something. When you sit back and you allow yourself to kind of to put yourself in someone else's shoes, you can then understand why they navigate through things. My parents were pro black. They were pro Black Panther. They were very militant. We grew up in a household of Islam, which was also very militant at that time, especially in the 90s. So it's like late 80s, early 90s. So yes,
Sure.
a lot of people follow. If you counted on your hand, how many leaders do we have in our community?
That are
Not
real
many.
leaders. Wait. That are real
None.
leaders because we got a bunch of wannabes,
I ain't
pretending,
right. I ain't
grifters.
None.
yeah. None, right? And so it's like when you look at the totality of it, unfortunately, being in politics, you're gonna get dirty. Living in this country, you're gonna get dirty. So you need to be willing to educate, and but that we don't see that. We don't see the push to understand the policies. Whereas certain households, as individuals, yes, some of our parents were very, gave us what we needed, or our desire to know. But honey, it's a lot of people that live in the clouds, and that's what you see. That's how Trump got in office, because people wasn't paying attention. People wasn't paying
Child.
attention.
No, they
I'm
were
just
paying
saying.
attention. I can't even
Not
imagine
the
Hillary's.
people.
Right.
I can't imagine
Listen,
Hillary's punk
Hillary wasn't gonna
behind.
be president. She wasn't gonna be president. It could have been a dog that ran. They was not gonna let her be president. It
They
just was
don't want
not
no
gonna
woman
happen.
in office.
No,
God,
let me tell you something. It was her time
Ridiculous,
because
though.
she was supposed to be president when Obama got elected, and they moved her
right.
right on over for him, and she was mad as all get out.
Of
So
She
course.
was.
they
She
did not
was.
think they did not think that that man was going to get elected.
Well, I'm gonna tell you when
However,
I yeah.
let me tell y'all something though. While y'all want to get on 45,
Oh,
I'm gonna ask y'all, what do y'all know what 45 did specifically through policy for us?
yes, yes.
Are we talking
Nothing.
about he
Okay,
was the
because let me
name?
tell you something. There were many of those businesses that got torched during the summer of love, and when we was all doing all not we when them people came into our neighborhoods and torched our neighborhoods because evidently they
Right.
felt like we couldn't handle our own business and whatnot and so on and so forth, in the name of let me just help you poor little black people because you all don't know how to do this. We're gonna set this all up. And many of those businesses were started and or catapulted into economic success during those 4 years. As someone that
Right.
has been an entrepreneur on and off for many years, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. During those 4 years, money was easier to come by. During those 4 years, Black people across the board, from teenagers to grown adults, our entire unemployment percentage was in single digits. It has not been that since before the 60s, when assimilation and entitlement programs and mass
Affirmative
incarceration
action.
and the mass
Um,
felonization of our men were enacted.
I do want to jump in and say to you, I agree what was happening under them 4 years, but again, he was also getting the leftovers of what Obama had already started.
thank
And
you.
see,
No,
when
he
a
That is
wasn't.
president,
true. I was gonna
No,
what
he
say
was
that too.
not.
I
I'm
was gonna
just
No, he
say
saying,
was not.
policy wise, and if we speak into
No, he
that, I
was
don't.
not.
There
Obama
was
got that down before he
we
left.
did
wait,
what?
He
heart,
did
heart.
what?
Yeah,
What did
I'm
Obama do before he left?
He got the
Economically,
he
heart.
he's
I
not.
got
don't
the
agree
black
with you.
unemployment down before he left.
No, he did not.
Yes, he
Go
did.
back and find it. Go back and find it. Go back and find it. I'm telling
I'm
you,
gonna push
go
back on
back
that
and
orange
find it.
man. I'm gonna push back.
Go back. I want
I'm not giving that orange
I
man
want
nothing.
stats. Go back and find it because I'm telling you, by 2019, which was good 2 years away from
Right.
anything Obama reportedly did or did not do, the the black unemployment rate was not anywhere close. It was
Heart,
not
I'ma give you
trending and
something.
not drop in 2 years,
Yeah.
guys.
He didn't do that. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
Heart, can I give you
can't agree
something?
with that.
There's one thing I agree with you as far as Trump. Because listen, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I'm not a Trump fan, but I'll give you this. The one thing I liked about
I can show you more times he was
the
right, but
one,
go ahead.
the one time I felt like he was right is regarding China, because I feel like China has us by the balls. They have the whole world by the balls because we're giving them too much economic power. They make everything, and I don't feel like it's right. I feel like the whole immigration situation with Mexico, for example, that issue could be easily solved and served us. If we these factories that we have in China, if we moved over half of them to Mexico, it would not only cut down our taxes and the amount of money we spend to get that stuff here after it's done in China, but it would provide the jobs that these immigrants want over there.
But why
Yes.
can't we?
I will prove you. I will disprove that through NAFTA.
But
because
why
NAFTA
can't we
during the
bring
COVID period did
the?
not help it.
NAFTA with that we
But
would
I'm just.
negotiate NAFTA.
Let me ask you a question though. Why can't we? And this was the one of the policies I didn't appreciate that he put into play. The money for the black farmers, they never got it. They're still waiting on that money.
They weren't gonna get it.
That
Do
well,
you know
they
why
are
they didn't
owed.
get it? Go ahead.
No, nobody got it. The fact that he made those talking about he was gonna bring steel back, what he told the people from, and that's
Wait, who's he? I don't know who you're talking about. Who's he?
Orangutan.
45 said, and I quote, he did exactly what he needed to do. He went to the base that the elites did not go to, and he played into these people. Now, I may not agree with all of these folks, and they may not like me because of the beautiful color that I am. But as a human being, to say to these people who have worked in manufacturing the majority of their lives and say, okay, we're going to bring back jobs, that did not happen. Those people are still, he did not. Well, I mean, that's the, but again, if you're a person living in a rural place.
Wait, Chocolate, from a business standpoint, right? It will always make more sense for me to have a company outside the US, because it's always going to be cheaper to make things and pay the employees.
Why?
In America,
Because
why would you do? There's a lot of.
We don't want to work. We only want to work for a lot of money. Let's
what?
This is why,
that's
guys,
not true.
Hello. Wait. Time out. Let's just have a little quick economics here. The reason why it's cheaper elsewhere, 2 reasons. Because A, elsewhere doesn't pay people. B, because of the beneficial tariff, aka importation taxation, that benefits places like China and other places overseas. I am old enough to remember when every piece of steel was made here in the United States of America. I'm also old enough to remember when it started being made over in China cheaper. I'm also old enough to remember that the economic benefit was given to importing, rather than making here in the US. Now, when he started switching this lever and saying, no, absolutely not, China, screw off. Like, we're not doing that. You're going to have to start, and companies are going to have to start paying tariffs to bring this stuff here. Okay. Closer to right before COVID hit, that's when we were starting to see, and I can tell you right here in this belt, right in the Midwest where I'm at, there were so many more manufacturing jobs opened up. There were so many more, ability factories and things like that were opening up, and that and places were able to expand. The farmers did not get their money because you can go to each and every damn state, and I'm gonna tell you, there's money sitting there. That's the reason why a lot of people didn't even get the COVID money that had been released. There's more
You
COVID
are
money
correct.
sitting up there because the state legislatures are withholding this
Yes.
money, and so
Mhm.
it's not always the fact, talking about a broken clock being right twice. I'm gonna
Sure
give
am.
Potato Head that's in there right now a little bit of credit. But I will tell you that
Not
it is
Potato
not.
Head. I'm done. Wait, the
That's
Align
about the
Life said I
IQ that
didn't
I'm
say.
seeing coming from
Wait,
this
the
man. So
Align Life.
that's all
I
I
didn't
can do.
say I didn't say Americans don't want to work. The Align Life. I never said that. I said we don't want to work for low. I mean low. We don't want to work for 50 cents on a dollar. That's for sure.
When we
Ex-
shouldn't though, right? Like we
well,
No,
shouldn't.
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying. I'm saying the fact
I
though. That's what I'm saying.
I think to your point, and the reason why I'm as an entrepreneur myself, it
Right.
it is what I don't the future of our community, as we are, even though we are one of the smaller populations in this country, we are second to I think I'm not sure, I don't want to say it wrong, Hispanics. I guess that's how they do it in the polls, or however they do that whether you're Hispanic, Mexican, so on and so forth. We're second to consumerism. And so when Bush decided to allow this to take place, like, I was in the call center industry for like 20 years. And when we started sending people over to not Malaysia, India and Nicaragua and
call
the
center jobs.
Philippines.
Yep.
So to that point, and just seriously, on a sociology level, I don't agree with that. I think a lot of people would be, and that would bring the price down, because you're paying for them. You're not, those people aren't getting paid anything, and they're working under conditions that we would burn a place down if that's what they was trying to do.
Exactly.
But then we have pockets of places, like, for instance, I'll give Nike, for instance. When, I don't know, does anybody watch Michael Moore movies or his documentaries and stuff?
No, not really.
Well, he did a movie, I think this was under the Obama administration, and Nike was getting ready to open up another warehouse. So the people of Detroit were like, hey, we'll work for you. We buy your products. It's kind of like working for Amazon. You know what I'm saying? My money, you go get my money back, And he didn't do it.
That's true.
And so it's
true.
like, you find out that a lot of businesses could do it. What do you need with over 200 and something $1 trillion? What are you buying after that?
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother elite conversation, right?
Well,
Like,
yes, and that's
an
what I'm
elite.
saying. It's set up that way for it to continue to be that way, because then you wouldn't have consumerism. It's just like when the baby formula went out. I couldn't believe, I was watching the news all over the place, and the one person was like, yeah, don't make your own baby food. And I sat there and I was like, what?
But did you also know that there was cases and cases and pallets sent down to the border?
Exactly.
They were taken off of our shelves and sent down to the border.
But we make enough. There is more than enough.
Well, what happened was they had like a salmonella
Isn't
or something.
maternity rate low? Isn't like labor rates low? Aren't less women having children right now? It's the lowest it's ever been.
Yes, persuasion women are having less children, and that is why the conversation.
Persuasion women, child.
You mean the clear women?
Yes.
Oh.
Their birth rate has been low.
We're having less children. This was one of the things.
We are having less children as well.
But I will ask you, I will ask you this question though. True enough, but they will not come out and say that. They are just talking about us. Do you remember when the census came out? Do you remember what they said about the census?
Oh, that orangutan jacked it up? and made
No,
the numbers that he wanted
no,
to have?
No.
no,
Y'all don't
no,
know. Y'all
gotta
really be
say people's
assigning the
names,
boogeyman with
man.
everything. That's y'all saying that you
no,
ever made me do it.
no,
Child, y'all need to stop
no,
playing.
not at
Go
all,
ahead.
not at all. I'm talking about
I don't know what
when the
you're
census came out.
doing.
Our counterparts are not having children, and there are less of them and more
You're saying
of.
white people? Or are you saying white people? Because
Yeah,
these
she's
code
saying
words are
queer
Oh,
all
can I
people.
say that? I don't
You
know.
can
I
say
try to
queer
be
people.
PC. I'm
Y'all,
trying
We
to be
these
okay,
PC.
code
okay.
words.
Let's at least be like. Listen, I have a mixed crowd. So
Yeah,
let's.
I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm trying to be,
So
as
let.
PC as
White people
So
possible.
offended?
basically, what we're saying is Caucasians and I really even hate to say black or African American. I really hate to say that.
Yeah, like it's
Melanated,
just
darker melanated
right,
or melanated
right, right,
people.
right, 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 right.
We're having fewer and fewer children, which has been the way. Honestly, if you guys have been paying attention, it's been that way for quite some time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
It's been
I'll
like
get
that for a
him. I'll
while.
get him.
Mhm.
Yep, and then there's other populations that are having many more children.
Yes.
Now,
Especially the mixed race population and the
it
Hispanic
has
population.
Yes. Now that. Oh, I'm
extremely
sorry,
yes.
because I love the
No,
statistic part.
Sebastian, Hispanic rates is going down too.
Really?
Well, actually,
Yes.
No, that's
no, the
drastically increasing.
percentage. That's why this is all going bananas. This is why all of a sudden
I just read
everyone
something that
has
said that.
jumped on the bandwagon of, oh, we need to take care of these particular type of rights, so on and so forth. Fine, but my issue with that is this: when you try to go find a Planned Parenthood, I'm gonna tell you something. The majority of them are in the hood.
Yes, we had
Yep.
that discussion, child.
That is
Yes,
And
100%
I
true.
almost
ma'am.
gonna rake over the
Yes,
coals for
ma'am.
that discussion too. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I
please
love
let's
it.
not go.
All right.
I can't go back there. I can't go back there.
You got
Not with
PTSD.
this one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we had a
okay,
long
so
discussion on that one.
we whoo child, and we're probably gonna have another one because whoo.
Right.
But anyway,
But you know what's sad? It's educated people that are having less kids, and it's all the dummies in it. I mean, you know what I'm
child,
saying? It's a lot
yes.
of people with third grade education
Exactly.
having
What's
like
that
5 kids.
movie? Idiocracy. Like we are
Yes.
living idiocracy right now.
Smart people should have kids. That's
Oh
all I'm
my
saying. I'm
God, me
sorry.
and my sister was just talking about that.
We're living
We
idiocracy.
are living in it. Yes. Okay, wait a
So
minute, ladies. I just wanted to tell you this. I found
yes,
the numbers for the
okay.
census, and I wanted to tell you. Okay.
Okay.
So right now, you
Hmm.
have more. What is it? What did they say? I want to make sure Latino. That's what they said. So you've got a 80 to 90% bump of Latino people in this country. So the way they break it down is people of Caucasian people went down 15%, and that 16% went to the I want to make sure it's Latino community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when all holy cheese snacks started happening in that realm, because how you cannot continue to dominate a people if you're making less of them,
Mm.
and they're not giving like the state laws that they're passing it in any instance. They don't care if there's been anything inappropriate. Nope, still have it. And what the Kentucky governor just said, well, I can't imagine what a woman would go through, but there's options. Adoption. I said, okay, sir. All right,
Okay,
good
we're
day.
gonna have to get off that whole conversation because to
Yeah,
me
I
that
was about to say we
let me
already
tell
had
you
that.
because that one
Yeah.
there is nuanced. Because if you all go and really research medical research, where stem cells come from,
Yep.
where
Yeah.
whose stem cells are more adaptable.
The most come from the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
True,
Wait.
but my point is though is that if you research that, you're going to find out who has the primo stem cells. And I'm going to leave that where it is, y'all. We got to have to move
Right.
forward because
Okay,
No.
move
otherwise we're
Can
going
forward.
to
I?
go down
But
the
I know the
road.
answer. I promise I know the answer.
Heart. Can I just clear something up in the chat, just being from the Latin community. The
Yeah.
aligned life, it's a lot more complicated than that. That's not a real
It
statistic
really
at
is.
all. It's a lot more complicated than that. Sebastian's Latino too, and he'll tell you that. Most of us
It's a
do
lot.
not identify as white. We identify as mixed because, for instance, where I come from and where Sebastian comes from, we are mixed with Black, Taino, which was the native people, and Spanish. So
It's a lot more
I do
complicated
not
than that.
identify as white, even though I may be classified as it. Hell no.
It's a very complicated topic, and that's
Yes.
and another thing why this is starting to happen. This census was the first time the census had a very broader perspectives. This is the first time
Right.
where you could literally indicate where do you descend from, what country you
Right.
descend from.
They
This
Right.
is
get
why the
specific.
census is very specific.
Right, right. And I think it was the first time where it was very well known that you could participate in the census regardless of citizenship status. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
You could always participate in the
Yeah.
census without.
But people
regardless-
always thought you were going to get deported.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
people
let's
always
just be
thought
real.
Mm,
Like, it was like
yeah.
made very plain and very well known. Now, I have my own political thoughts on why nothing is ever done in a vacuum. And let me tell you something, nothing is
Yep.
ever done without benefiting somebody.
Yup.
And it
Hello.
usually ain't us.
Um,
It usually
You
ain't
better
us.
stop it. You better
And
stop.
and especially us peoples, because what ends up happening is that Lisa, don't go there. Let me pull back because I was about to
Go
say something.
there. Go there.
no, Heart, go there, Heart.
Go
You
there.
great conversation.
Right. Everybody on this panel grown. Let's go.
Because
Go, yeah.
we are the only minority that will have in everything. Oh, we're standing up for these people and these people and these people and these people. We're the only group that don't just stand 10 toes down in what's good for us. And then the minute
Come on.
people
Yeah.
do stand up as to what's good for us, then we're called segregationists. We're called
Yes.
separatists.
Yeah.
And all of a
Yes.
sudden,
Yes.
we're not playing the game right anymore. And that's from all sides. Why am I not allowed to do that? Why am I not allowed to go in and say, no, I want the charter schools for us? Why am I not allowed to go in and say, no, legislature
Yes.
for us? Why am I not allowed to do all these things for us? I'm supposed to take care of everybody. Y'all can kiss my natural because I'm tired of taking care of
out the way.
everybody.
Listen.
Okay.
Oh, hey, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Can y'all hear my fan? Is it in the
Yeah,
okay? Because
baby.
my sister is hot and I'm in the way. So okay, good. Okay, I want to piggyback off what you said. I was called that. BJ, get out the closet. Come on. I'm so sorry. My cat is in the closet.
Oh, I thought it was
I'm
a
closing
kid.
the
I thought
door.
you were yelling at a kid.
Girl, listen. I still talk to him the same way. It wouldn't matter. Get your anyway. Okay, back to that. I love the cat. I love the cat. Okay.
Adios.
So to
adios, she spelled it wrong.
No, ADOS, American descent, American descent.
Yes. So I was just called that. I was called I'm trying to segregate us, right? So real quick, my thought process is this: we need to purchase land and we need to build our own communities. And the reason I say that is because there is millions of dollars of land available. And if you change the demographics, migration, so to speak, and you build a community, and let's say you get 700,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
That then puts us in a position as a community to have a representation in the House and also in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And if you go to these vacant areas that no one has ever lived on, turn them into places that are safe for us and our allies, I don't see the problem with that. But I was straight called, well, you trying to bring segregation back. What do you call the suburbs?
No. Shaka,
Like,
no, you're
what are
right.
you
And
talking
You're right.
about?
and why is it
You're
okay
absolutely right.
for other groups to have
Right.
sections of cities and
Talk
whatnot,
about it.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden we can't? Now this is a very nuanced and very layered discussion. I will
Yeah.
grant you that,
Right.
because one could say, well, you already have that. It's called the urban areas and whatnot.
Yeah,
So okay, I'm
no.
gonna grant you that to an extent. However, a lot of us don't even own. We don't own the, and this is no shade. We don't
Right.
own the
Right.
apartments or homes that we are living in. We're
Hello.
renting.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you.
So
Mhm.
the person that actually has the most power in that voting pool, that property taxes and such like that, there's
Yeah.
different rules. A lot of people don't know there's different rules for property taxes
Yes.
for
It's so true.
apartment building owners
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and rental property owners,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
as there is for people like me that are homeowners. So
Yep.
I
when
can
we're
speak to
looking
that.
at the quality of the schools in the areas in which we live, we got to go back to how are the property taxes being divvied up and assessed. But we're so
Exactly.
busy worried about what the hell somebody's tweeting and whatever that
Mm.
we can't
Yep.
even stop and say, damn it, I want my property taxes from the person that owns the building I live in. I would need to change the rules, the tax laws in my municipality and my state
Exactly.
so
Heart,
that
heart.
it
Exactly.
goes
I
to
wanted to
my
add something to
school.
that. I
And
wanted
Right.
to
that
add
is
something to that real
why.
quick.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry. Go ahead.
I currently own an investment property, right? And I
Mhm.
was talking to some of my friends, some of my homegirls that are black, and I keep telling them, you need to buy property. You need to
Right.
rent out to your own community, because I've got an applicant, right? I recently accepted an applicant. He's an African American male. He has a history of he went to jail for a little bit, but he went to jail for selling weed. And me as a person of color, I can understand, oh, that's just dumb. He's not a violent
Yeah.
person. He deserves a second chance. But a white
Right.
person, let's keep it a buck 50. A white person or other people who own properties, y'all know what I'm saying? Wink, wink, nudge,
Mm-hmm.
nudge.
Right.
They would look at that and judge him and be like, "Oh, I'm not doing this."
Or you
And
have
I'm
to live in a slum. You have to
right,
live in a slum.
right,
So yeah,
exactly.
I
And that's why,
completely
Listen,
agree.
that's why,
let's keep it a
that's why
buck.
I
We do it to
agree.
our own.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
keep
I
it
was
a
Yeah,
getting
we
ready to
do.
buck.
say,
We do.
No,
but
but what I'm
but
saying is,
to
growing up here,
mm-hmm.
I even though I'm not African American, right? I can see with my friends, and I see the news, and growing up here, I can see that African Americans have been treated unfairly. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
not fair for anybody to cast judgment. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, it's not fair. I feel like that a lot of African Americans who've gone to jail or had issues are not rented to like that, because they are discriminated against. I know, because I run those circles of
Yeah,
landlords and stuff.
yeah.
And
Oh,
it's messed
heavy.
up.
And
That's why I tell my
Heavy.
friends who are African Americans, own your own property, help your own people out,
Right.
do it.
right,
Right.
you have to do
And
this.
that is what I was saying. And that man said to me, "Oh, you trying to segregate us?" I said, "Do you understand that they are trying to change history in the schools that we send our children to? That they're
Yes.
not getting good meals, that they are not being taken care of, that you got coaches and teachers cutting the hair off of our children?
Yep.
Sir, open your eyes and shut your mouth. Pick up a
So,
hammer and do something."
Speaking of
Again,
schools,
right. Go ahead, Sebastian.
speaking of schools, people need to be very vigilant what their kids are learning in these schools.
Hello, come on.
Very vigilant, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that are being pushed into these young kids' minds at a very young age, which is not safe for the future.
Agreed.
Mm-mm.
Agreed. And can I just say,
Agreed.
my little soon to be 8-year-old on Thursday granddaughter, she brought home, they was teaching her math, right? I don't know what the hell this was. This was not addition or
wait,
subtraction.
teaching her
This
what?
was
What was it?
teaching her math. This was guesstimate this, think about
Mm-hmm.
that, estimate
Yeah.
this, I'm doing stuff
Common
backwards,
Core.
like
Yeah, that's
adding like
Common
tens
Core.
before you add the ones. This is common stupidity. I don't
They want the
understand.
children to rationalize the problem at every step. And that
I
is the
had to do it
dumbest
in
thing
middle
ever.
school.
And
It
Brendan
is
had a hard
Yo,
baloney.
time.
heart looks so stressed.
I had
Heart
to
looks
do
so
it in
stressed.
high school.
So what we did, my son and daughter-in-law and the babies live. We're a multi-generational household. I was so proud of my son. He said, Rayleigh, you're not doing it like this. I'm going to write a note to the teacher to tell her you're not doing like this. I'm going to teach you math
Mm-hmm.
the right way.
As it should be taught.
As it should be, because that's always been known. This is a complete aside, y'all. I'm so sorry we diverted off to the left, but this is something that's passionate to me. Listen,
Right,
math is a universal language. One
Yes.
plus one equals two.
Amen.
I don't care what language you speak.
Yes.
I don't care if
Mhm.
you don't even speak a language. One plus
Yeah,
one
math
equals
is math.
two. It's math, right?
Yep.
So now, not only have we begun
Preach
to
it.
change language, period.
Mhm.
Pay very close attention. Now you're wanting to change logic and math
Yes.
so that it's confusing, and that what children are like,
Right. You're
it's
gonna lose
okay.
interest. Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose interest. You're going to get frustrated. And then now the teachers are just like, well, she didn't do it the right way. Listen, she did it the way it's been done since I don't know, since Moses parted the damn Red Sea. So I don't care if you don't like it or not. You better not fail her, because she's coming to the correct answer.
Answer.
I
Yes.
can't, and also can't stand it. Let people count on their fingers. Can I tell you, we were not allowed to count on our damn fingers, okay? We were not allowed to do these things. So
I
what
did
did
it
I
anyway.
do? I became my mother and got flashcards. Here you go. Here you go. Math. She's gonna learn the multiplication tables with the flashcards. She's gonna learn division with the flashcards. You're gonna learn these things so that it comes off the top of your head, not so that you got to use my fingers and toes, yours and everybody else's in the house, in order to arrive at a damn answer.
Yep.
There's
They
no
don't even-
guessing. 12
Yeah.
plus 12 equals 24. What is the guesstimate in that? I don't understand. It's the way it is.
But
In
that's
the
how the
red.
standardized testing are. They're teaching them the tests. They're not teaching them anything. They're
And-
learning the standardized test that they give everybody across this country. This is why the Common Core curriculum came about, because they were failing these standardized tests. Why? Because one, they're not funding the schools equally, and that everyone knows things.
And they're not teaching them. They're not teaching them the things that they need to survive in this country.
Exactly. Another thing.
And that's why I don't understand that there is not outrage that now you could give your money to yes, I'm gonna say his name, Dr. Umar Johnson, but you can't get around. Listen, just like Hart, I am very passionate about my people. I am very passionate as I was a teacher. I've been a truck driver. I've worked in retail. I have lived different lives. I was in the hood. I was in the ritzy part of town. I've had money. I've been broke. I've ridden in those circles. And when our people can be so easily duped because we have, and I'm saying it as a collective because individuals are smart. We make smart decisions, but as a collective, that shot is scary. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this man been saying he was gonna build a school for 10 years.
Just
10
like
years.
that building fund in y'all church. See, he knew what y'all was gonna do, because y'all let a building fund go.
Let me get some water.
15 years and a mortgage burning fund. Y'all know what I'm
Hello?
talking about. Stop playing with
Come on.
And it may a mortgage got burned or a building got built, child. The light bulb
Honey,
changed.
Girl, listen. I called the church to try to get some help. This lady gonna tell me, well, do you attend the church? No, I don't attend the church. I thought y'all supposed to help the poor and the raggedy.
The community the church is in.
Absolutely, Melinda. We need to all parents and their parties, guardian needs to get involved with the PTA and the PTO. Now I'm gonna put this out here to y'all. I'm gonna want you to watch how this goes.
Right.
We got all up in arms.
Click.
Yeah, I gave it. We got all up in arms because what? We were being told that parents in certain school districts all across the country were getting angry, and it was put to us by the mainstream media that they were angry as a result of, critical race theory, like they were upset about what their kids were being taught. Now, I'm gonna put it to you like this though. Why were we inundated with that narrative so that we as the
Yeah.
good little followers,
Mhm.
would not do the same. Because why? All of a sudden now, parents are terrorists because they are taking an interest in what their children are learning and or reading. What was not put out here was a lot of these parents were quite upset because not only were their kids being taught that you are just a horrific person because the color of your skin, which we would not want taught to ours either, and we should make sure that the pendulum continues
It
to
should be
sway.
fair. Yes, yes.
But there
Yeah.
was improper, I mean, books that were overly sexualized and things of that
Yes.
nature that
Yes.
were accessible to children of reading age well before those children either should be exposed to such things or it should be left up to the parents to parent. When we see these things happen and then that they phrase it in a race baiting way so
Yep.
that
Yeah, of course.
we then say, oh my God, you horrible people over there that are sans melanin in your skin. Like, you're just horrible. Da, 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 da. But we miss what's happening. The groundwork is being laid so that then if and when we finally get ourselves together to come out and say these very things, we can be labeled a terrorist. We can be labeled as bad parents.
That's
You can
right.
shut up and let the state raise your kids as the state chooses to, independent of the fact that the school to prison pipeline runs right through all of our neighborhoods.
Hello,
Yes,
come
So
on now.
ma'am.
before we
Yes,
jump on a
Don't
ma'am.
do
bandwagon
it.
and get pissy about an ism or a potential ism, you need to see the long play.
Here's
Well,
what
Right?
I
that's
don't
not how
understand
we
about.
taught to look at things. We're not taught to
Wait,
look at
see how
things in a long way.
education. I
I'm
have a
sorry,
question.
excuse
No.
me.
I
Well,
have a
well,
question. See how in Germany they learn all about their past, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Why is it in this
Yeah.
mhm.
country? Why
Yeah.
is it in this country we cannot talk about critical race theory? All right, like many people have been affected by racism and institutional, like for instance the jail system. How it's like now all these people can open up
I
this
got some
country,
hair.
but when Tyrone and them was trying to sell weed, they got thrown in jail for 52,000 years. You know what I'm saying?
Can I say
Like
Agreed.
something
why?
about that?
But let
Well,
me
we
ask
have.
you,
Oh,
I, I,
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
want to ask this question though. When we're talking, because actually, this all, guys, believe it or not, does tie into the stated topic of the day.
Exactly.
Because I
Great
want you all to
minds think alike.
see
Oh, I'm sorry.
where
Hold on.
where we're always like twisted and turned and manipulated, and how we're manipulated against one another
Right.
for elitist. Now, I'm not saying the
Mhm.
company you work for or the CEO of your company is a bad person. Elitist,
Right.
I'm putting elite, that's way up here, okay? Those are people that
Right.
go to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. For those of y'all that don't know what that is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to
Mhm.
need you to go look that up because they're making decisions that will drastically impact us if you don't pay attention. Now,
Exactly.
anyway,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
my issue, I will tell you my issues with critical race theory and all of the rest of these other things that have
Okay.
become offshoots of it.
I have issues with it too.
Because there's a number of principles of critical race theory that are associated with solely being European concepts as opposed to just human beings, such like a strong work ethic,
Mm.
punctuality,
Mm.
Mm.
You talking
wanting
about CPT?
individual success. And I'm going to the importance of educate. All these things are assigned to European concepts, and somehow supposedly there ain't nobody that came from the African continent or any indigenous individual that ever thought one should work hard and want to have individual success, think
Right.
should be on time, so on,
Mm-hmm.
so on, and so on. So if you want to teach about how there's institutionalized racism, which I still, of course, believe that there's institutionalized racism. I do
Right.
believe on an individual basis, honestly, folks that I have met and interacted with and worked with, on the whole, are not the bad boogeymen that people want to make them out to be. So I have a problem when you're teaching
No,
from a
no, I'm not saying.
perspective. No, I'm not saying, and I'm not attacking. I'm just saying these are my
I
issues.
know you're not.
When you're teaching from a perspective that
Right.
somehow you are less than because of the color of your skin.
No,
That
I
is
think
a
we should teach the
problem.
kids also about the greatness that done. Like for instance, the Mexican engineer that was the one who made the color television. I'm sure there's a lot of black people
That's
from
why we
Africa
need
that
our own schools.
created
Thank you.
amazing things. You understand
Um,
what I'm saying? Like I feel like we need to. I think we should talk about the Trail of Tears, but I think we should also think about what modern Native Americans have contributed to our society to make all of our lives better. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Yes.
but
Well,
that's
yeah,
not
I
part of critical
completely
race
agree.
theory, though.
Right.
No,
Critical
no,
Yes.
I'm
race
not. I'm
theory.
no. I get what you're
No,
saying, but
I
I feel like we could.
understand. I
Yeah, yeah.
understand what you're
No,
saying.
no, I'm not done talking though. No, what
Go
I'm
ahead.
saying is that what I'm saying is that I understand critical race theory can make us seem like woe is me in the sense, but I feel like as parents, like you said, we could be a part of PTA and we can help construct the curriculum if that makes sense.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. But I'm saying what happened is that we had this series of, issues or like, oh, such and such a governor got elected because, he came out against teaching critical race theory. And all of a sudden these parents were put up as a bunch of ists, right? They
Mm-hmm.
never bothered to show you the melanated and other folks that came forward and said, I don't want you teaching my kid this crap because
Exactly.
you're telling my child that
Right.
basically it's only the European concept that one wants to work hard and be successful, and that
Right.
basically you're telling my child that my child is somehow inferior, and now you're making all children feel inferior, and we have to teach you how to think and tell you
okay.
what to say. That's my own thing. Like let's just watch it
That's your
when they
gripe.
put up a straw
Okay.
man and a boogeyman. That's my only point.
Okay.
Yes.
Critical race theory is not taught K through 12. It is a law class in law school.
Mm-hmm.
It's not taught in the
Mm-hmm.
schools. So
Mm-hmm.
some of those parents that came that they want to that you say they want to put up as ists
Mm-hmm.
Right.
are because it's not being taught in schools. They're not. It's not
Exactly.
being taught in schools. What is being taught in
No.
schools are the truth about how slavery affected Black folk and how what they did to my other half, indigenous people in this world, how they committed genocide and all of that. They're telling the children the truth, and the parents, whether they are melanated parents who think critical race theory is being taught in class, or the wannabe ists parents, they need to know the truth. I made it a point to teach Chronicles everything about
Well,
the
see,
past and different
yeah.
and everything. It's
But
not
see
critical race
again.
theory is not in
Yeah.
school. Now I do have some reservations about some of the books, and it started when Chronicles was, I think, in the 10th grade. They wanted him to read what was it, Like Water for Chocolate, Brendan?
I believe it
And
was.
that is an
Yeah, like
overly
what if
sexual
chocolate?
book, and I had a problem with The Bluest Eye the following year because of the graphic nature of the R scenes in the book. Now, if he had been maybe the 11th or 12th grade, I may have felt a little different with those two books. But
Mm-hmm.
he was just coming out of 9th grade and going into the
Right.
10th with Like Water for Chocolate. He wasn't ready for that.
Well, I
Where?
do.
And I voiced my opinion.
See,
I
that's the
know.
thing. If the education department, and this goes back to what I'm saying, yes, I'm gonna beat this horse to death. It goes back to if when you decide to open a school, it is necessary for you to have the relationship with the parents within the school. See, before we had neighborhood schools, you could
Mm-hmm.
go on your lunch break and
Sure
go up
could.
to the school and go see about your kids. The teachers called you.
Yep.
Now, the way it is set up in our education now, it's not like that. The teachers are burnt out. They are either been there too long or too young and don't have no real experience with children. They're teaching 20, 30, 35 to a room because a lot of teachers left, especially during COVID, the C-19 height. We don't pay our teachers enough money, and we make
That's
them
true.
jump through hoops for all these testing. What are you testing?
I say
Teach
something
them
about
how to function and be ready. A child should not spend 12 years going to school, come
On a
out
test.
and still got to go to school for 4 more years.
Can I say something about that
Oh, of
whole
course,
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
done.
honey.
You
okay.
ask me something after him.
The
Yeah,
the
go
first
ahead.
thing is about the zone schooling and that form of schooling. Zone schooling is rooted in racism. Zone schooling has a long roots in racism. And charter schooling, where parents actually do get involved, are being demolished. They are being demolished all over the country. These charter schools have helped kids who come from zero, less, but way down from the poverty line, and made them succeed in the future. And they're being demolished all over the country because some people are pushing that schools should not be privatized, public schools should not be privatized. And
Wait,
the
someone's in
other
a wind tunnel. Hold up, Sebastian. Can't really hear you. Somebody's in a wind tunnel or something.
okay,
Not
Go ahead,
me.
Sebastian. I just
No,
want to
we're
make
good.
sure that you were heard.
okay. And especially I want now gonna go back to the zone schools and charter schools and the standardized testing.
Mm.
Standardized testing should not be a requirement. Standardized testing should not be pushed onto kids. The main person who pushed all these standardized testing is Barack Obama. He
Oh no.
No, no,
Standardized
honey. I was
testing
standardized
was
tested.
there before Barack.
no, he
Yeah,
pushed it in. It was always there, but he pushed it in a certain narrative, like the Common Core and all these other unifying standardized testing. He pushed it that way, and that's how teachers were graded on their excellence, is due to how you would teach these kids how do they perform on these tests. That's how it went.
I feel I understand from your perspective what you're saying. I though remember that coming into play a long,
Time
like
before.
for
When did
I'm
the Common Core?
54, I'll be 54, and I had standardized tests. Now wasn't the importance of it wasn't as strong.
Right.
However, I do remember that my kids are 33, 32, and soon to be 30 to 29. Oh my God, my youngest daughter will kill me if I say she's 30. Um, when they were going to school, and they started in Illinois and finished here in Wisconsin, there by state, there was starting to be a much higher level of importance placed on standardized tests. And unfortunately, that's also because though there were so many schools that were not graduating kids that couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
They kept
read.
pushing them through,
Yes.
Bastion.
We still
Yeah,
have young
we
people
still
who
have that.
cannot read. And just as a quick caveat, I also, and I'm about, I think you and I about a 10-year difference. I had
Uh-huh.
to do it, especially during the 90s,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
like 94. You could not graduate if you had not passed
Exactly.
that test, especially in the Midwest. I'm from Ohio, so they did a lot of that stuff, and it was to get money. It was to
It
get
was
money
given.
for the school. Okay,
Right.
Right.
yeah,
Now,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sebastian, I'd
The
be
teachers
interested
get
in what
bonuses
hang
too.
on one second. Hold on. I want to listen to Sebastian, I would be interested in hearing what policy, if you have any idea, what policy specifically you're referencing, because my
Oh,
kids were out of school and I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a dog, and well, I kind of did, but didn't really.
the
A
Common
dog in
Core.
that fight by that time.
The Common Core. The Common Core. It does
Okay.
have a big stretch on this, and also when we talk about zone schooling as well, there's the states that you expected to be to have the most diverse schools are not the states you think. First, I personally thought New York was the state with the most diverse schools, but it's not. In New York, it's zone schooled very well. That if you go to school, you either see one race or another. That's how it is. Because if you go to Florida, that's a whole different topic. If you go to Florida, you're going to these high schools, you see everyone. It's due to the
Yeah.
fact that their zone schoolings are done county wise. It's not like how in New York where it's done city wise.
Right. For population management. But so while I agree to an extent that it is a racist situation, I'm going to though give a little pushback in that again, if it used to be back in the day, you had much more home ownership across the board, right?
Yep.
Now I'm gonna go way
Yes. Yes.
back.
tickets way
go
back.
back to the 50s and the 60s, okay? And where there was much more home ownership amongst Black folks.
Exactly.
There was, so the property tax situation was different. We were much more, I mean, if you look at even the historical, like the documentary historical movies like Hidden Figures and things like that, like it wasn't as if we were stupid and we were uneducated. Do you see what I'm saying? And that was fully segregated schools.
Of course not.
So what I find interesting is that as assimilation occurred and desegregation occurred, one would think, right? Oh, this should benefit everybody. It did not. I mean, the projects were created in the 60s as a result of and simultaneously with entitlement programs and also with a disproportionate number of our men being sent over to Vietnam, coming back, a disproportionate number that during that Lyndon B. Johnson era is when not only were the entitlement programs, which, okay, great. However, then it was also the rules and regulations of, well, if you have two parents in the household, you're not going to get entitlement. Also, that was when the mass incarceration of Black men started beginning to happen.
Can I ask a quick question? Can I ask a quick question about the era? It's related to what you're saying. I just want to ask this to see what it played a role. How did the crack epidemic impact this as well?
Oh, that was in the 80s.
Now we going into the 80s.
Yes. Please,
baby.
I'm an 80s baby. Let's go.
Baby, that's a whole another history lesson.
Oh my
we'll
gosh.
get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
That's a great one. That's a great one.
So while I understand, Sebastian, I get it. Like I'm with you. I think, to me though, the racism comes in less in the fact that there's zone schooling and more in the fact of the simultaneous socioeconomic depression and oppression of these particular areas. Right? So when you have situations where it's like this kind of huge cauldron, right? We're putting in all these different spices and ingredients into this toxic soup that's been made. You have less accessibility to fresh food. You have less accessibility to jobs. You have less accessibility to transportation, because if I'm not mistaken, I know this was a while in Chicago, but in a lot of urban areas, it will cost you a ton of money to actually have a car. You know what I'm saying? Like the registration, not only you paying state, you're paying city. Sometimes you're paying by neighborhood. You have to pay to park. Like it's ridiculous. The insurance is high. Like it's ridiculous. So that puts you on public transportation. And then you put in there the fact that the schools are not maintained and you're not getting the proper education in those schools, which then means, okay, the educational quality isn't there and you can't really get out to get somewhere else, or you got to take 5 million buses in order to get to school where you can go here locally. Like there's a lot of moving parts that goes into creating what we have, which is a permanent underclass. This is why it's fine for Latin descendants to go on and be the largest growing population. Why? Because this country was created to have us as the permanent underclass. And when I say us, I am not just talking who came from the continent. I'm talking who was already here, because most of y'all that identify as African American, which is another lie, most of y'all parents, everybody came from right here. There was no way. So if we're going to tell the truth in school, can we tell the real truth? There was no darn way that people that thousands and thousands and thousands were being brought over from the continent back when slavery was happening. The technology did not exist. It was impossible. Impossible. So the vast majority of those were the darker, because it was in the South, right? Primarily. Well, not primarily, but it started up here. But anyway, the vast majority were the darker skinned indigenous people. There's
Mhm.
no way you could have had this amount of people come across. No way. And if there is, why ain't there one damn slave ship in one damn museum anywhere? And I'm gonna concede and I'm gonna let y'all think about that. And Chronicles, go ahead, baby, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just concerned that parents may be mad about the wrong thing
Go ahead.
in
Go ahead,
certain
baby. Talk.
schools. Because critical race theory is not really. It should, don't get me wrong, it should be taught in schools, but I think they should be mad at Common Core because they're replacing the normal curriculums with all these standardized testing. Kids can't even sign their own name or anything. They don't even know how to sign their name. I had to learn that from my grandma, my mom, my aide when I was in high school, and had to read a couple of books on the subject. It just makes no
He's
sense.
right. They can't sign their name now. They don't know cursive. Can't read cursive.
They don't.
Nope.
And what happens if you can't sign your name anymore?
You sign an X.
But no, what happens then? We have all these
Fingerprints.
You're not a
Your
person.
fingerprints.
WEF. WEF. Remember that. WEF, the World Economic Forum.
Listen,
Your
I
fingerprints,
told Lisa, you got me
cornea
over here. I'm
scan.
so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say one thing about this Common Core to Sebastian?
Yes, please.
Sebastian, sweetie, as a parent of a child who was 8 when Obama was first elected, and who child voted him in for a second term again at 18. Common Core, the thing about Common Core was it was to put everyone on equal footing. Now, what we did not know, and maybe Obama may not have known or have known, that Common Core actually is a detriment to the whole system because of how they're teaching these kids to rationalize every answer in every subject. It's not just math, it's every subject. Every subject, you have to have a rationale for how and why you came to that answer. And that it was supposed to get children to think, but how it's being taught is not being taught correctly, I think, as a parent who went through it for 4 years.
Exactly, and it's like having too many backup bodily systems in one body. It's just too many redundancies to what's the word? Work.
Yeah, you're right, babe.
Correctly.
And
Thank you.
that's Common Core was supposed to put us on equal footing, Sebastian. So you cannot fault a man who was trying to put the educational system and each school on equal footing, being taught the same thing at the same time.
Here's
But
my
You know
issue
why I
though.
love
how they
kids?
implemented it.
Wait. Hold
Kids
on.
don't-
Hold
I gotta
on.
go.
Okay, babe.
Okay,
Yeah, I gotta
babe.
go. My phone's ready to die. So
Thank
see
you,
ya.
honey. Thank you.
No problem.
I always appreciate you.
Thanks.
What I love, can I say what I love about Corey? When she a ride or die, she a ride or die. She not.
I worked on the campaign, so I have to be a ride or
That's
die.
why you a
Oh,
ride
that
or
makes a
die.
lot of
Okay,
sense.
baby.
That makes
Okay.
a lot of sense.
But listen, I love your loyalty, sweetheart. I never want to be on the other side of that. I'm just gonna put that out there.
It's
Woe
real
be unto the
facts.
person that is on the other side of course of Corey's loyalty. I love you. No, I love
I
it.
know I love you too, Heart.
I love it. I just love it because and I love the fact that we can have these conversations and no one's getting upset with one another.
Oh,
Yeah.
nah.
Okay, I absolutely love that because I see that sometimes on some other channels, and I thank you to the chat as well. I know we don't have a whole lot in the chat. I hope we can start having more of these where more people are available, because I love the fact that chat, nobody's attacking anyone either, and
Love that.
that's what just makes this a very, very safe place for us to have these conversations. So
Absolutely.
I just want to say that I appreciate everyone for their participation in the Grown Folks Talk. Okay. I will agree with you to an extent, Corey. I got no love lost for that man, and because there was,
I'm showing you my belly, Heart.
No, I got no love lost for him, and I'm gonna tell you why. Sometimes what I don't like about what we do is we are willing to accept people with darker skin tones that ain't ADOS, that really ain't, for us. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Uh and having grown being been in Chicago during that time period where he was there and Michelle was there, and there was some of the same. I've said this before. There's some of the same circles, the educated Black folks I never met this man. I've been told that I've been at functions that he was there, and Michelle. I don't remember. But we, much to what Chocolate Earth said earlier, I'm not saying she's assigning this to President Obama. We end up allowing people to be our quote unquote leaders that really don't even have a concept of the struggle. They don't have the same DNA imprint as those of us that have generationally come up through what we've come through. And but then they will use our pain for their power.
Yup.
That's my and this does not mean either Democrat or Republican or anything like that political party. I feel like we need to actually go to more of a system if we're going to still deal European, that much more like the UK has, where there's representation, but it's not by party. So there's multiple parties like in Parliament. And so it's a much broader spectrum of ideologies and policies that they can choose from. And then the leader of parliament then is chosen from that majority group, you know what I'm saying? But it's also easier to remove them, and there's certain things that happen. I feel like we need a broader, because even Thomas Jefferson said the two-party system would be the death of American
Mhm.
democracy.
Correct.
And we're watching that right now. So
Right.
that's a very that's a compound statement. I've been watching the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, so that's compound. So I'll retract that. But I think it's sad that we as a people don't have proper leadership, and that we as a people tend to go for the shiny object rather than going underneath the hood and seeing what really is running that engine.
Okay, I'll give you that.
So, but kudos to him. He rose to power, and Buddha Hillary, baby.
We could have been
Hillary
worse
knew
under
that was supposed
Hillary.
to be her time. And when they brought that man out, I was like, who's this? I said, oh, Hillary girl, I don't know who you pissed off, but you pissed somebody off because you just got
Monica
shoved
Lewinsky.
aside.
She
She
pissed off
got
Monica
booted
Lewinsky.
and scooted. She was like, out. Um, that was nothing short of, you knew this man was chosen. He was chosen, and whoever decides who's chosen, because I hope y'all really don't think that your vote. Ooh,
Oh
shut up.
yeah, the group of families, them 10 families or whatever that decide every damn thing.
Damn
Oh
it.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. No,
On
What
the
I
you're
do?
right.
federal
I'm
level.
sorry. I'm
On the
sorry.
federal level. On the local level, honeys, it still counts. It in fact, it matters immensely. On the federal level, though, is where I'm going with that.
The Kennedys have a lot of power.
They sure did.
I know that's
Yeah,
right,
they
Mims.
used to.
I know that's right,
I know
Mims.
that's right, Mibs. Listen, I'm definitely more moderate than anything. I'm probably more libertarian, if you ask me. I
Yes,
just, you know
girl.
what? You live your life, let me live mine. Just don't come over here trying to hurt me, because you
Right.
might get pumped with some hot lead. 2X.
I know that. No,
I
no,
know that's
no, no.
right.
Talk about your hand jewelry, honey. Talk about that hand jewelry. That's all right. Sometimes you gotta use it.
But you know what? Heart got enough sense to know when to use it, and that's the point. She got her
Being
mom.
versatile. Being versatile. That's it.
Absolutely. So if we're going to circle this back around, so this is the reason why I even want to start this discussion, because I want us to see how the fear, how the racial under and overtones. I mean, let's look at what we. I mean, I didn't. From what I could see, it was mostly white police officers that were then not going in, right? So
Mims, you
let's just
nasty.
think of, huh?
I said Mims is nasty. Look what he wrote.
What'd he say?
Is that a
A
gun
sexual
reference or a
reference?
sexual reference?
I don't have.
See,
I don't have the ability to do that, darling. If I did, I'd be dangerous.
I know that's right. We all would.
Oh, I'm scared. They're gonna be playing this one back. Okay now.
Pumping lead
I ain't telling
everywhere.
no more secrets. I ain't telling no more secrets.
Pumping lead everywhere.
I'm trying to tell you, I so agree. Cause I'm gonna tell you where I'm trying to move to. Ain't nobody nowhere. If you want to come over, it's by invitation only. You show up and trying to do something, I'm gonna have you dancing. That's all I'm telling you.
Not
That's it.
dancing, child.
That's
That's
You
it.
it. That's
gonna be
all.
dancing and not the way you think.
That's it. That's all.
I
So
don't see what the yes, that's how it was. That's how it used to be in certain areas when they once they started allowing women to own land. Your neighbor, she could be a widower. I'm a widower. We work together. The land is
right,
ours. But
right,
then they wanted to come in and take it because that's not right. But yeah, I completely understand.
right.
I keep it. I don't want to make nobody dance, but I
Okay.
will.
Do we have
Say
feedback
heart.
or conversation going on behind the scenes here?
I don't know.
I think it's chocolate. Chocolate. I think it was from you.
Oh, are we getting okay?
Why she be so quick to tell on somebody? I'm fixing it. No, I'm just messing.
I'm sorry, girl.
I just tease it. I promise. I'm just joking. I'm silly. I'm
Share a
silly. Oh,
YouTube stage with that. Uh-huh. She be getting me all the time.
I sure do.
but this is my I want us, the tragedy is the tragedy. I'm not, and I think a while back somebody said that they have found, remember I told you about the gentleman in Buffalo that he had the patent for the car, for the engine that would run on water.
He's the second one though, Hart. The other one, the first one, miraculously disappeared.
Oh,
So this is right. So my thing is that we've got all these nuanced and layered situations. Now it's no coincidence that this happened at the border either. Why? Because again, we want to be sure that there's this divide, and that there's this continual divide, A and B, then people will be less likely, potentially, to want stricter border
Rules.
laws, or they won't pay attention to if they're lessened because of why? Because this has just happened. Right? They don't want us to pay attention to the fact that we can spend 40, how much is it? 40 billion that we're sending overseas?
yes,
But
yes.
our own people are
We're
starving.
starving. Look, you know what?
Inflation.
You know
Go
what,
ahead.
Hart? I was on Twitter the other day, and Bakari Sellers said we should send a whole bunch of fourth grader shoes to Joe Manchin so he could get up off his obstructionist. So, and I said, why don't you send the shoes? You make more than I do. I'm over here struggling, trying to feed my family, put gas in my car, think about whether I want to eat or go to work or pay an electric bill. And someone told me I must be a wonderful person because I'm complaining about that because of this shooting that just happened. I said, dog, it all correlates. It all
Absolutely.
correlates.
Absolutely.
If Joe
That's
Manchin
true.
yeah.
stop being an obstructionist, then
Right.
everything that we're trying to do to make everything better and put us on a road to rebuilding our economy, we wouldn't be in this mess.
We wouldn't be in
And
this mess if the economy hadn't
Hart,
been destroyed in the first place. Guys, you gotta wait. Okay.
Correct.
Let me go back. Because Potato Head's the one that destroyed the economy.
wait,
Can we
Hart,
just
Yes.
be
can I
real
say
about that for a second?
wait, Hart,
Let's
I
just
wanted to
be
say to
real, because
you,
we didn't have
you're
that
right
issue.
about it.
What is he obstructing that people are so concerned about? I'm
BBB.
confused.
For me, is the election, the electoral bill about having safe elections and being and having fair elections. He's obstructing the filibuster. He's obstructing the lynching bill.
Corey, I have a question for you. If
Yes,
they
sir.
get rid of the filibuster, are you going to still feel the same way if Republicans have that power?
I'm gonna have to. I'm
But the
gonna have
majority
to.
won't, dear.
Yeah. Wait, can I just mention
The
something hard?
majority
Because
won't.
you
Go ahead.
mentioned about the spending, right? Sending billions of dollars
Yeah.
abroad.
Wow.
I was born in Queens, but I was raised in Philly. And
Mhm.
Kensington up in Philly, that needs all the help it can get. If y'all
Mhm.
know about Zombieland in Philly, and I'm sure there's other areas like Skid Row in LA, we could use that money to rebuild there. There are businesses that are permanently shut there because they can't open because all the heroin addicts and them acting crazy on the street, biting each other ankles off and shit.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to rebuild here too. Like, I feel for the people of Ukraine, don't get me wrong, but come on, y'all. Like, we need to take care of us first. Like, that's all I'm saying.
You
Like you said,
think
there's
Europe-
kids
see,
starving. I want
but
to help other people abroad. Don't get it wrong. I mean, I have a heart. Like,
right,
don't get it twisted. But we need to make sure we straight. And then
Mm-hmm.
right,
God helps those who help themselves. You know what I'm saying? We gotta help
Amen.
ourselves first, and help somebody
right.
else. That's all I'm saying.
So this is the point of stronger tariffs. This is the point of being what is called a nationalist. But that is given a bad word. Why
Yes.
is that given a bad connotation? To take care of your own country first, right? And why are some of our quote unquote leaders the main ones talking about we need to send money? No, the hell we don't.
Exactly.
No, the
That's
hell we
that
don't.
part. That
And
part.
and if you're going to start sending aid over somewhere, and I'm not saying that this is not a bad situation or what have you. It is what it is. Y'all, they've been fighting over there for forever. They're gonna fight
Mm-hmm.
until the cows come home. They're gonna fight
You talking about
again. But
Afghanistan? Yeah, they're gonna be fighting forever over
They
there in the
but
Middle East
but
too.
but if
they have
you gonna send
decided and forgot the people that's paying rent. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was over
absolutely.
you. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. That
Yeah.
can't find jobs again.
No.
Everything their businesses have been shut down as a result
Yeah.
of a whole lot of stuff.
And
Not
they
just the
can't
Rona.
bounce back. They
They
can't
cannot
bounce
bounce
back.
back. So what
And
do? You make them dependent upon the government.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you make them dependent? Because then when the government can continue to
Somebody's
pull
making
all the
money.
strings,
So
exactly,
somebody's
and
making money.
control. And
Like you
when you
said
have
earlier.
right, it's the elite situation. It's the
But
elite
you know
situation. Now,
what?
y'all mark my words. Mark my words. They are now the whole the monkeypox that came out. Why? Now they're saying, oh,
Every time you say it, it
I,
make me laugh. It's not supposed to be funny, but I mean, come on, monkeypox. I don't even want to say
leave,
that.
leave my monkeys alone. Okay, leave the monkeys alone.
Why
They're
are we
cute. They're
talking about
cuddly.
monkeypox? I like orangutan.
Big, uh,
Well,
they
I
all
Bush
like
should
just
have
left
orangutan.
had.
office.
But let me tell you something. Because now what I'm looking, first of all, there's a few things, right? We're not seeing a bunch of jab, like the pharmaceutical companies are not making the money that they thought they were going to continue to make on the jab. Okay, they're just
Exactly.
not.
especially because Mark Cuban actually, this doesn't have to do with the job, but it has to do with medicine. Mark
Yeah.
Cuban actually created this company, a pharmacy that is just outrageously cheap. People are getting it and moving over there, which is scary
Oh,
for the pharmaceutical companies. Like, the price for medicine could be less than your copay.
But
it
do
should
you
be.
know that
It
if
should
we
be.
were into our own laboratories and manufacturing, that we wouldn't even have to do that because the government is going to pay you.
Yes,
Think in this way, they are all about contracts. A lot of the things that you would think the government is doing, they're sending it out and paying somebody else to do the job they could just do.
Absolutely. That's how the pharmacists made all this money. That's how the
Exactly.
pharmaceutical companies made all this money. That's
Mm-hmm.
how the hospitals were making a ton of money and all of
exactly.
this because it was all supposed to be. Now, y'all can think what y'all want to. I know that there's people that have passed
I'm ready to
due
go
to the
down the
Ronas,
road. Let's go.
that people have passed due to the Ronas. However, you can't say a motorcycle accident victim who may have happened to have the Ronas passed away because of the Rona and not because of the severe head trauma
Exactly.
Like, miss me with this. Miss me.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden, there's no flu deaths. There's nobody dying from heart attacks. Ain't nobody dying from nothing else. Miss me. You're putting this out here so y'all can make money. And now that it's coming out that there are so many jab injured, and if y'all do not believe me, I want you to go to platforms like Telegram and Locals and other platforms that are alternatives, and you will find tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that have been injured due to the jab, where they did not have issues like poor circulation, neuropathy, heart issues. It goes on at continual long COVID brain fog
Yeah.
as a result of these, because it didn't happen before. And now, and all of a sudden now everybody's like, yeah, I
No,
can't
I
help
agree
you.
with you.
Can I
can't help
add
you.
to that point
Mhm.
with that? And this is just, it's not a rebuttal, more like in the coincidence lane, as
Mhm.
close, as close as you get, I guess.
Mhm.
When you hear about when the Rona was when it was starting to be on our televisions,
Mhm. Mhm.
before that, there was a Spanish from Spain. They were from
Mhm.
Spain. It was a doctor, and he said, and this was early on. He said that if you get it and contract it, if you don't, you will have neurological symptoms. It's there. The evidence is there. And so that people are complaining about, it's the neurological system. It's brain fog. That comes with fibromyalgia. There's a lot going on. So see, I'm adding to. Not necessarily, I'm not saying I think that part, but I'm wondering if in making that, it heightened what it was going to do. Do you see what I'm saying on a scientific level?
Absolutely. Yes and no. So I will say this. This is the first jab that was created that is not made from attenuated or dead cells. Okay.
Right.
Everything else has always been made from dead cells. Why is that? So that your body, which is a miraculous, wonderful, wonderful system, your immune system is amazing, but your body then will recognize the dead cells, that are the dead DNA that's not active, will recognize that and say, oh, this does not belong here. And then your own biological mRNA will then take this information, take it to your RNA, and then what happens is your immune system says, okay, great. If this ever gets introduced into our ecosystem, onto our biodome, we're going to be able to send the white blood cells, attack this, get rid of this, because this doesn't belong. When you have the jab created as it is, what it did is it took mRNA, which is the strand of RNA that basically says, okay, this is the blueprint upon which we are going to create a specific cell, okay, a specific type, a specific DNA. Normally what would happen is your body with the RNA, which is supposed to run the show, that's on your strands, right? Your DNA is supposed to say, wait, whoa, no, this is wrong. We don't really want this. We want something that looks like this so that the immune system can attack it. What happens is that this jab creates it at such a high rate. B, because it creates it at a high rate and it's all live, the body's a little like, what the heck is going on here? And then it renders a significant portion of your white blood cells as basically impotent. They are no longer able to act and react. That's also part of the whole Rona makeup. It is a SARS or a flu virus matched up with the HIV virus, the AIDS virus, I should say, not HIV, the
Heart, you're
AIDS
sure you're not a
virus.
scientist, girl? You sure you're not a scientist? Because the way you breaking it down is
You
mad.
broke it
It's
down so
amazing.
good. You broke it down like how I'm learning it.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
broke it down really well, Heart. Look at your Heart, y'all. I think Heart's a scientist on the side, y'all. A spiritual scientist.
Oh, there's Gemini.
Yep, there's Gemini. She's making her appearance. She's like, girl, you've been on here a long time. But so and we all know what the AIDS virus does. It renders your immune
Cells.
system incapacitated, it impotent. It takes those T cells and it reduces the count, so your body doesn't produce it. So if you think about it, just the virus itself was an insidious creation, and I say creation because we've had both viruses now for how many years? And if you know anything about biochemistry at all, you would know that these viruses have been in existence in the grand biodome for decades. If they were ever going to mix and match and meld, they would have done it a long freaking time ago.
That's what that's what I'm saying. All these diseases that existed since like 2,000 years ago. Like, come on.
Exactly. So now, one second, Chocolate, I'm gonna let you get in. So now what happens is now you've brought this into your system. Okay. And it is now creating at a rapid rate this virus live, not dead, live. And it does it in such a way that the receptors of your for your white blood cells that would typically attach and say, nope, you gotta go, yeet, you're out of here. Yeet. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. And so now what happens is these can cross the blood-brain barrier, which causes the brain fog. So when you have people, especially especially in booster situations, that now they're seeing the similar symptoms. Why? Because you actually have this. This is why they wait. They say, oh, well, until after the second one, you're not fully like vaccinated. What? You're not fully protected? What? Since when is that? Miss me. No. You got to get a bunch in and a bunch in and a bunch in so that way it gets inundated. And there's a whole lot of other things that this does. But my point to it is that now they're wanting to take these smallpox vaccine and say, oh, let's just put these little mRNAs in here. And then so you don't get the monkeypox.
Exactly.
Yeah, they pulled it out the stockpile.
They pulled
it out the stockpile.
You know what's funny? It reminds me of a college textbook. They add a new chapter every year, so you buy the whole thing again for like $1,000 plus.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna need a punch card pretty soon, and I guess you get free Starbucks.
They just took the monkeypox vaccine out of the national stockpile.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There was the smallpox.
No,
monkeypox. I'm looking at it.
There's a vaccine?
Yes, there's a vaccine already.
That's what I'm saying. Remix.
Can somebody find who's got the patent on that bad boy? Because I'm gonna guess.
And then next year's gonna be the rat pox. They're gonna have rat pox, and everybody knew Manhattan gonna need one because we got some giant ass.
And that's funny because it does transmit that way through rodents.
They took it out of Fort Detrick. I think it was a couple weeks ago.
You can get it if
rats.
Right, can infect. If they infect a human, then a human can infect another one through close contact.
I was listening to this Dr. Frida Fisher. She was explaining a lot about the monkeypox. She was saying how it's not infectious the way we think it is. Like you and one person can infect 1 to 2 people. That's how much it could happen.
Right.
And, I don't want nobody to affect me, period.
Exactly.
Right. But if you come out with an mRNA jab that is actively creating, because now they know, first of all, that they can do it. Second of all, that people are too stupid to realize oops, I didn't mean that.
That's all right.
Keep it real.
People that would be more inclined.
Yes, you did.
I really did. I don't like calling people stupid. That people would be more inclined and fear-ridden and prepped and primed to just go and take this one as well. Now you can spread it that way. Because and again, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this whole thing. When they are putting out statements, little clips here and there, transmitted by sex. So you don't want us to reproduce. Okay. Not only that, but it's in the infection rate is highest in homosexual males.
That's just homophobic. That's all that is.
They just doing. They
Hey,
trying to
listen.
do that AIDS stuff all over again.
Right.
Thank you. I
They're
wanted y'all to come to that
discriminating
conclusion,
against.
so I didn't
They're
have to say it.
discriminating against.
Absolutely.
That's
And
very
that, mhm.
that's rooted
Yeah.
in discrimination, and
Yeah, it
even
is.
donating blood. Gay males can't donate blood. I understand why they did it in the 1980s, why they did not want to do that, but now there's so much technology. When you donate your blood, they do a whole
Right.
full screen panel, and they'll know if you have a disease or not. So why are they discriminating?
Exactly.
I have
Yeah, it's
plenty of
horrible.
gay friends that donate blood here in Wisconsin. I wonder if it's state by state.
It's probably
Yeah.
state by state.
If
Oh
you're
they
yeah,
dying on
no,
the
for the
table, do you
federal
think you should
government,
really
you can't
care
do
where it
that.
comes from? As long as it's gonna help you. Why do you care if it's a gay Mormon guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, who the hell cares? I'm just giving an example. I'm being
I
funny.
just want to know that it's my blood type and
Right,
that it's
and then I'm not,
clean.
yeah, and that it's clean. That's all I care. I don't care who it comes from. I should be grateful for it. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So my point to this, guys, is I want us to look at these situations not just in a vacuum. Yes, we need to mourn the tragedies. Yes, we need to.
Right.
Ooh, we're gonna get to the 2A conversation. Yes, we need to. We're gonna get there. Yeah, let's get there. We need to have practice public health safety. Completely
Yes.
understand. But I want us to
Right.
look to make sure that we're not getting our strings pulled and our chains yanked
Right.
and look behind the why it's happening so
Right.
that
Look behind the
again
veil.
we can find courage in the chaos. Like, don't sit here and just believe everything that you're fed. 99% of it ain't true, or there's some ulterior motive. Now, I'm
Right.
going to say the ulterior motive behind trying to do away with the 2A, Second Amendment.
2A. I'm sorry.
Second Amendment.
Okay, gotcha.
Second Amendment. The ulterior motive behind getting rid of the Second Amendment is this.
Right.
Do y'all know what happened during the Ronas in Australia?
Everybody got locked down like they was on house arrest, like they was doing real time. I know
In
that
New
because I know somebody
Zealand
was living
too.
there, and
In
they
Yeah.
were locked. Like, you thought we were locked down, they was locked all the way.
Oh
down.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even the
Mhm.
kangaroos. I'm kidding, y'all. Not the kangaroos.
Amen to that. Same thing happened where in
New
China
Zealand.
and in
New
New
Zealand, too.
Zealand.
China's still
Um,
locked down. Shanghai is still locked down.
oh,
Yeah.
they've done horrific things, but we'll get to that perhaps. There was a lot stricter things that were lockdowns that were happening in Canada as well as the UK, as well as France, as well as what do
Italy.
all of those countries have in common?
They're
No
all
guns whatsoever. Not even a water gun.
You cannot do
I'm
that here in the United States of America.
No.
So while I understand
Yeah.
that I'm not going to say that we need machine guns, which also, by the way, AKs are not actually able to be bought or sold here. There, you can modify a gun to be that like, but that's not actually, you can't actually buy that particular model of gun. So anyway, and you can modify anything, anything to make a semi-automatic fully and whatnot if you know what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying anybody needs that level of firepower. I'm not even trying to go down that road. That's not my issue. There's two things I want us to really contemplate. First of all, if you reduce the number of legal guns owned in the country, do you honestly think that people who are owning guns illegally are no longer going to do that? That they're just going to automatically say, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me just give my illegal weapon up. Get real.
It's illegal. And while at it, you can have this bag of cocaine too.
Oh, right. I'm a criminal, but I'm going to do my civic duty and give you my firearm.
No, girl, you're right. I'm not.
Me, okay?
But
First
do you feel like, is it wrong for me, like someone like me, for example, to think that like if you got schizophrenia, you have no business having a gun? Is that wrong of me to feel that way?
I'm not. No, I don't know. No. I don't believe that you're wrong for feeling that way.
Right. I want you to still have your gun. Like, I want people like you to still have your gun.
I'm gonna be a full constitutionalist though, because I
Oh,
said
go ahead.
this about speech as well, the First Amendment.
Right.
I might not like what a lot of people say.
Mm-hmm.
I might
Mhm.
not like what they say out loud
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and wish they had kept it inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Court.
However, I have to defend their right to say it as long as they are not inciting violence or they're not, you know what I'm saying, something like that.
Or a coup.
Yelling.
Mm-hmm.
Or a coup.
I'm
You don't
I'm
want to
not
go
going
down there with me.
there.
You really
Corey.
don't
Corey.
want to go down that road. Anyway, but I have to defend their right to say it because I said this way back in the 80s. There will come a day when what you want to say
Mhm.
may not be what the guiding, governing forces want you to say. What you want to read may not be standard approved material. If y'all need to go back and read 1984. I don't know if you could even
I
still
read
get
it.
it because they're
Yeah, you
You
can.
trying
can
to
get it.
stop
It's
us
on
from reading
Audible.
it.
It's on Audible.
So
I need to get it.
you need
Amazon,
to.
y'all.
You literally will see
It's
what's
free on
happening
Audible.
now.
Yeah.
You will
Oh,
Big
I've
Brother's
read that book
watching.
before. The
you will
Ministry of Truth.
thank you. Who determines so you're going to tell me what I can and cannot say. So and I want you to see how that's applied. We just had Ethan Klein, who is a Caucasian YouTuber, H3 podcast, that
Mhm.
when the NRA convention was going on, live on air, he says somebody should go bomb that place.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Did he really say that? Oh
Yes,
my
I heard it.
God.
Ooh.
Yes, he did say
Um.
that. Now, there was such an uproar, finally, that YouTube did give him a strike and said, you're on timeout
Yeah.
for a week.
Right.
However,
Mm.
we're still talking about certain things that people that said lesser than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mhm.
the standard isn't applied evenly. Why? Because we're allowing speech to be censored. We're calling words violence instead of violence. I'm not saying what people say is right, wrong, or different. I'm
Right.
saying we have to be careful that we are defending their right to say it. Now, when you're applying that to firearm ownership,
Mhm.
this is nuanced. Okay, I can say, no, I do not believe that someone that is diagnosed with schizophrenia or rage disorder or what have you should be allowed to own a gun. However, how
Mm.
do I know that 2 months from now, somebody's not just going to say, you've got rage disorder because you don't agree with what's being going on, so you can't own a gun?
I see
Yep.
what you're
Like
saying. They're gonna try to flip it on us.
somehow
Yeah, I see it.
we've got to be sure that when we're administering this, that it's administered in the least governmental intrusive nature possible.
Yes.
What
Now,
they
how
need to
does that
do.
happen?
What they need to do is start taking some of these driver license back, because some of y'all mother effers can't drive for shit. That's
I
all
will
I'm saying.
agree with that, and I feel like we probably should have licenses to be parents, but that's a whole other story. Um,
I agree with that.
well, I don't know that it's. I mean, I can buy a gun privately here in Wisconsin.
It's not that it's
Mhm.
easy to buy a gun there. In Texas, they still do a background check.
They absolutely do.
They didn't give
And did
Homeboy a
this young man
background check.
own the
He didn't
firearms he
have a
was using?
record. Homeboy didn't have a record.
Right. So where were you going to find out?
There you go. But was he diagnosed with any kind of? I
No,
know
No,
people were
no.
saying that he was violent and shit.
He
People were
was,
saying.
but he was never
never diagnosed.
evaluated
But
or
see,
anything.
here's my thing: is this more of a parent's fault then? Because if your kid is showing exhibited aggression and anger, shouldn't you
Mhm.
intervene and get him the proper help? Now, I'm not a parent, but I know you're a parent. Corey, you're a parent. I'm not. Chocolate got a cat, from what I understand.
She's the gardener. Yeah.
Wouldn't y'all get your child help if they need that?
Okay, me as a parent, yes. But these other people, I don't know them. Like Mariah Carey say, I don't know her.
And do we know? I mean, he unalived his grandmother first,
Mm-hmm.
and very like to the face.
Mm-hmm.
She's dead. She's not alive anymore.
No, that
She
was
died
his
No,
in the
first
hospital?
victim.
I thought she
And
was in the.
That was his first victim, is my understanding.
I
oh
thought she
wow.
was in the hospital still.
I thought she was
Oh,
in
maybe she is. I'm sorry. I don't mean to call unaliving on the
No, I
woman if
believe.
she's still
No, I
unalive.
believe she's unalived. I believe they confirmed she's unalive.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
she was unalive on the scene. I think when they got there, she was unalive.
Got
By
it.
the time they got to his home.
Okay, but it was, I mean, to the face. So
That's
Right.
personal.
where's his parents? I understand that the father has come out and said, "Oh, I think my son was just fine."
And also,
You need to get locked up. Just something wrong with
Right.
you.
Right.
Because ain't
and
no way this child just up
Heart,
and just flipped the
Heart of
script one day.
Inspiration, Heart. Also, in all these school shooters and all these mass shooting people, there is a correlation. They all lack fathers in the household. They
Are
all.
you
Uh,
about to go manosphere on me?
yeah,
No, I'm not going
maybe.
manosphere. But I'm not going manosphere. But I'm saying father absence has a very big.
I'm all for the manosphere conversation.
Listen,
You're voting for the
Sebastian, honey.
manosphere. Um, yes and no. I would be interested to hearing about the ones that happened before Columbine, Sandy Hook, such and so on.
Mhm.
Is that still the case? Because I do remember, I believe
Columbine, they had parents in the
they
home.
had both their
It
Both.
parents.
did. Columbine did.
I don't. I think
Sandy Hook had. No, I think they were divorced.
Yeah, they were divorced, and he killed the mother. Oh, he unlived the mother.
when if this, I'll
See,
be
but
lucky if
see,
this
that,
get.
wait, heart,
Listen,
heart.
by the
Even
way, I would
that.
be lucky. Hang on one second.
Yeah.
PSA, I'll be lucky if this whole thing gets monetized. So any super
Right.
chat donations y'all want to send over, it'd be very much
Right.
appreciated.
Help us
Thank you very
out.
much. I'm not begging. Y'all know I normally don't beg, but I'm gonna tell you something. After the conversation we had, I don't think ain't no money coming from YouTube. Anyway,
Right.
Not today.
But heart, even that we have to. We're being censored right now. We can't say the word. We have to use other words. Unalive. Why?
exactly.
And I don't
Like
think
we're
you could
being
say
censored right now.
BLACK. I don't think you could say BLACK.
Because
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
because it's not ours. We don't own it. That's all I mean.
Right.
I'm just being
Right.
honest with that.
Well,
Right.
some of
We
the
have
some
we
of the
don't
platforms that we own aren't really that well to us either.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about grown-ups owning stuff. I ain't talking about kids
right.
and
Right.
grifters. Okay, I'm
And
out.
honestly, this is across the board. So I don't care where you go. Like there's just certain words on this platform that will get you,
Mm-hmm.
what have you. And that's why we try to be very careful about what we say. Sometimes it slips, sometimes I just don't care. Um, it is what it is. I choose my words very carefully, even when I'm talking about things like the composition of the Ronas.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
do.
Because
You do.
that, and I'm not
Right.
giving medical advice nor anything else. I'm repeating what has already been put out in
Right.
scientific publications, even though I knew it before then, and they was trying
Me
to
too.
deny it.
Right.
It's
Heart, can I
finally
ask a
now
quick
been
question?
refuted. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask you regarding the shooting? Is there what was your thoughts when the teacher passed away and soon after her husband did?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you, girl. Okay, the grandmother is still alive. Okay, all right. Her family may never be able to speak again. My God, today. Um, oh, it broke my heart.
It
He
did.
Mm,
died of a broken heart.
yeah.
Literally. He died of a
Mm-hmm.
broken heart. And there's never didn't they have 4 children?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
He died of a broken heart.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
I, that's all I can say.
Yeah. I was just curious on that, on your thoughts on that as well.
You
Go ahead.
his mother had the nerve to say he's no monster. he had a reason behind what he did. That
No,
we should forgive him.
Corey.
Throw that bitch away. I'm
No,
sorry. Hard.
no. The Spanish wasn't well interpreted by the
Oh, it
media.
wasn't.
No, it was
She
not.
was speaking English when I saw her on the news.
Okay. Wait.
English, and I heard the
Whoa.
interpretation.
Okay, Sebastian, what? Please, what did Mama say?
I
Please
speak
save us.
both.
Please
Well,
save us.
let's Sebastian translate the English. What she say?
She said, like the way the medium interpreted it as if she said, "Oh, he had his reasons for doing it." But I think what she actually did say is that there are reasons in the backstory of why this happened, like psychological things. That's what I think she actually said. But the
Oh,
interpretation,
But that's no better neither, because she should be kicked in the head for not giving him help when he needed it.
I don't
She
think she
should
was
be a
involved in
mother.
his life either. I don't think she was involved in his life either.
no. I mean,
I
And
think
there we
I think
go.
grandma was raising him. That's what I think it was.
Yes.
I think grandma
right.
was mainly dealing with him, not mom and dad. That's the problem.
Because I
And there
think
we
he's
go. She was
And
a
let,
capable person, did not take care of what her responsibility was.
just
Neither
like
did the
Jim
dad.
Shepard.
honey, but we don't know what grandma
Right.
may or may not have been trying to do. And if she
Right.
did not have full legal
Custody.
guardianship over him, and it was just a situation where the boy was living with her and she could not get the father to take him anywhere and do anything, we don't know that. Like, as much as there's situations where I'm just like, oh, you need to do da 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 da. I don't have legal guardianship. I can't force a parent to do anything.
Exactly.
So we don't know the nuance of what was going on behind the scenes. Somebody should have got somebody some help. But what if a lot of the somebodies in this mix were touched as well and were not thinking properly and had their own set of mental health issues going on?
True. As a
That's
person
kind
who
of
had
what I'm
foster
leaning
children in the
towards.
home growing up, that is so true. So true. We had foster children for so long, and we have gotten so many so help that they actually needed. And it's I think there's a lot. I know they don't want to say that mental health has anything to do with a lot of shootings, but if we start there and have a mental health system that is able to help these people, children, adults, or whatever have you, fix themselves or try to put themselves on a path to healing, maybe none of this would happen.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just talking about the legalities of a grandmother
Yeah.
Yes.
raising their grandchild, that unless there's certain rights signed over,
Yeah.
I had to go through the court system to become my granddaughter's guardian for the time that my son was away.
Yeah.
And then had to fight the biological mother to make sure that I retained said guardianship and primary placement. In order for me to be able to do anything like enroll her in school, get her medical attention, anything, I had to become legally. So, and that does not always happen. And I mean, y'all, come on now. How many of y'all know so and so and so and so was raised by their grandma?
Me, I know someone, especially in Latino families, this is very common.
It's
Where
so in Black community too.
it is
Sure
so
is.
common where you just like drop off your kid at their aunt or grandma's house because they probably live in the neighborhood anyway, and then they're just raised there.
Right.
Not just drop them off. Damn.
No, but that happens.
Sometimes it happens like that, Lola.
Well, I understand what you're saying, Anna. Hey, welcome to the broadcast, Smoke.
Hey
Smoke.
y'all, hey y'all, hey
Hey.
y'all.
I understand, Anna,
Hey.
what you're saying. The unfortunate thing is, in certain communities, mental health
It's not a
is
problem.
still not a thing.
Exactly, especially in Latino communities, mental health. We do not believe in mental health.
That's in people.
But that's
Some people's
people of
of color.
color. Like even
Mhm.
What people of color
too,
say.
like even Asian people have that issue as well. It's a people of color thing.
It
It
really
honestly
is.
is. It really is.
Mhm.
They have the highest unalive themselves rate. One of the
Absolutely.
highest. Asian people.
Absolutely. So it's a lot. I mean, oh, I don't even know. Smoke, what you got for us, baby?
Well, first of all, I want to apologize for being tardy for the party. I was like, I can't wait for this stream. I'm thinking it's later on this evening, and it says 2 hours has passed. So I do
But you know
apologize.
what? The YTs have it when you set your reminders for 7 p.m.
Are
Oh,
you
Coast.
serious?
Yeah, I'm
that's
very serious. I didn't even know until a little birdie dropped me a little tweet.
because I thought the same thing too. Because it was saying like, oh, starting at 7 p.m. So I was like, oh, I got time. I can finish work and I can pop in at the beginning. So I was like,
I did not set it up for that time.
oh, you better
It's
call.
at 3:30 Eastern for me.
It did.
Oh, so we being shadow banned.
They
I
trying to
must
get
be
us.
doing something right.
But to
I ain't
answer
wrapped too tight.
to answer like well, we'll start with the monkeypox. I think we should be very careful because I do believe like this could be the next thing after we feel like we've cleared COVID that I don't think enough people are taking seriously. In regards to mass shootings, I've just honestly become so numb to it. Like it's just kind of just like it's a part of the American life, and it's
I know
just
that's right.
it's so unfortunate that that is the case when it's like there should be no left or right or middle side to valuing life. I don't think anyone in their right mind feels that one someone's life is better than the others. That's my hope, or I would think. Some people may think that, but I think this is an issue. There should be no divide, but unfortunately, people will try to create it that way, so it keeps us in conflict with each other, so we're not able to get to an actual resolution on the matter. And then the third matter, as far as the economic difficulties, listen, I don't mind paying $4 to $5 for my gas. Like I'm smart with my money, so it's like if I need to fill it up every 2 to 3 weeks, I can do that. I just want Joe to cancel these damn student loans because it's ridiculous. $10,000 is not enough to do damage for I would say most of undergrads or
Oh,
people who
I'm
get
with
to
you.
college, and especially since I think it's mainly people of color who are share in the bulk of the deficit.
Yes.
So
Amen.
I think just as they're able to not only bail out the banks when they have an issue with recession, or even giving billions of dollars to corporations like Delta and United when they didn't save their money when COVID started, I think you can allow to give the people of America a break, and it just seems so. I don't think they're seeing the value in that because then people might actually start buying homes again and like investing into America and all that stuff. That the surplus that could create, that's how I see it. But I'm welcome to be challenged on that as well, and that's all I got.
But people are still buying homes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the and it's
What's
only slowing down a little bit right now
mm-hmm.
because the interest rates have jumped. But
Yeah.
I still
But
get
also
now.
credit though. Credit. Like if you can't pay it, like for instance, some of these student loans, I feel like wouldn't that affect your credit? And then you can't
It
apply
can.
for
Listen, I
loans
bought a
to
whole
get a
house and I
house.
was in the middle of a bankruptcy, baby. I don't know.
Mama
Right.
got
Um,
money.
Mama got money though. Not everybody got money like you, big baller.
Well, what do you mean?
Balling over there. You balling over there. Not everybody balls like that.
Yeah.
I
You
don't
barely
understand
got
what
the
y'all
down
talking about.
payment.
I ain't no baller over here. Don't put me up in there. I mean,
You
I'm doing all right. But
you
We
balling better
see
than most because it's like
right.
we're live basically. I'll speak for my age group, so let's say the 20 to 30 year olds. Well, I'm about to turn 30.
Yes.
We are
Girl, we right
literally
there.
we're living paycheck to paycheck, and I have
because of these
friends
damn student loans.
student loans, but not only that, it's just the cost of like even like living is getting higher,
Absolutely.
and our pay is not
Yes.
matching that.
Well, the thing
Now,
is,
Exactly.
we can't make the pay match what you're living right now because once we increase the minimum wage right now, it's gonna hit us a recession immediately. The, rec-
absolutely.
the
And the
recession
other,
immediately.
right, you're right, Sebastian. And the other thing is, you might not mind. I personally have a big issue with my gas being up over $4 something
Me
a
too.
damn gallon because there's
Yes.
no need for this.
That's what I'm
Absolutely
saying. So
none.
gas is high, rent is high, student loans is high. It's like, how the hell are we supposed to
And
save up money to do
and you
rent?
know what else is about to be high?
Food and groceries.
Absolutely.
They're
That
already
shit's already
high.
high. It's already high.
My,
It's going to get worse.
my
We
mama said she saw beef bacon for $10.
Oh boy,
How
we
much
about to
worse can
start
that
eating.
get?
Y'all, we
It's
about to
going
start
to get
eating pigeons
worse.
out here. They gonna
Oh
start
my
eating pigeons out
god.
of here.
So now, so this is the thing. This is Lisa. Be good. This
Tell the
is
truth.
Tell the
this
truth.
Tell it.
when I hear y'all
Oh.
talking about certain peeps,
Mhm.
I'd be
What?
like, okay, so let me get this straight.
Mm.
Let me just get this straight here. We were in a situation before the Roners were unleashed on the earth. We
Mm-hmm.
were in a situation where the economy was booming
You mean
right
created on the
along,
earth?
Mm.
created then unleashed.
No, because people don't, there's still people
Okay,
out there
so
who question the
created
created part.
then released. Dang it, y'all. I'm looking for them super chats, y'all, because this whole thing's gonna get to my this the whole thing's gonna go there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not. Okay. So anyway, before that, economy humming right along. Okay,
Mm.
that hits, all things start going to hell in a handbasket.
Yep.
Now we okay, that happened, get it, so on. The only then companies that are making money are like your Walmarts, your Amazons, all the big boxes, right?
Mhm.
Mom and pops are shut down.
A lot of them, yeah.
All in never to return restaurants. And when you
Yes.
what people might not comprehend is the beauty of America has always been its middle class.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
middle class is what kept and
Gone.
keeps the economy going. It is not the corporations. It is not, right. It is the middle class. You can say what you want to, but the middle class is what makes this thing run. Now, what happens?
Mm-hmm.
You start day one. What do we have happen immediately? What we have
COVID.
immediately happen. Oh, by the way, we were energy independent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, we
We were
were.
not getting the majority of our petroleum from OPEC, nor have we ever gotten even a partial majority from over in Russia. So please, let's stop that.
Can I ask a question real
Really,
quick? Hard searching.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
in regards to that, because I remember me and my mom were talking about something in regards to, like, I guess we have oil reserves that we don't touch, and I guess that's the reason why gas is so high, because we're importing oil versus using our own. Is that not?
Mm-mm.
Well, the
No.
Mm-mm.
reserves are like
Well,
approved.
we're importing oil, yes, but we're not importing it because we have to conserve. That oil reserves is really supposed to be for our military in case we go to war. So
Damn.
by by releasing a minimal, I mean, really in the grand scheme of things, a minimal amount from the oil reserves, but a significant amount from the oil reserves, you have
Mhm.
now put American defense at
At
risk.
risk.
Now, potato head. Now, moving right along, what
Mhm.
happens day one or very close to day one? We stop all of these contracts for people that were supplying petroleum right here on this continent. We also stop the
The pipeline
pipeline from happening from the oil sands in Canada
through Alaska.
through Alaska as well. Exactly. All of a sudden, all of this production now is shut down, and then we're going back over to OPEC and saying, "Okay, we're back. Let's all
Yay!
make money together."
Right.
But then Potato Head manages to insult the Saudi Arabian, whatever he's called, leader, king, whatever. And so then Saudi Arabia and OPEC are like, "Oh, yes, I did that." That's basically what he did. Threw out the middle finger, said, "No, we ain't
I'm
selling you jack.
done.
And matter of fact, we're going to jack up the prices. No, we're not going to help you out." So all of these things happen
Mm.
simultaneously. And also, by the way, day one, there were a number of other things that were repealed, not the least of which were the semi permanent assistance to HBCUs.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Potato Head did that.
That Potato Head took it away because Orange Man Bad put it in place.
Yup.
Well, Orange Man Bad really didn't give us that much money,
But
but
it
You
did
a
help.
damn lie. Now you a damn lie, and the truth ain't in you. I'm waiting to see. Now you no.
How
Let
much
me tell you
money? How
something.
much
What he
money?
did do is make it permanent and not dependent upon the whim, because the homeboy beforehand wasn't helping the HBCUs.
Oh,
Now
them
that is
fighting
true.
words.
Now that is
That's
true.
that's the damn truth. And I
She
ain't
said
gonna
the
I
truth
ain't gonna
ain't
lie.
in you.
Now I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna take that away from you. Now homie was before did not help HBCUs because he don't
Damn,
know what a
Corey.
HBCU is. Now I can give you that. That I'm gonna give you. But
Well, then
Orange Man didn't
I'm gonna
really
also
care
bring up the executive
about the
order.
HBCUs either.
I'm going to give you the executive order that's going to show you where there was a permanent amount of money, or that was meant to be permanent amount of money directed to the HBCUs that heretofore had basically been diverted elsewhere. So there was an equity being created. And what did Potato Head do first day? Said, nah, you Negroes don't need that.
Another thing is,
Well, Potato Head ain't been for us, period.
But y'all still elected him
what
in there.
did
I didn't want orangutan in there either.
How
Because it
silly
would
is
have been
this?
worse.
Wait a minute. Potato Head is the one that was instrumental in creating the
Potato
prison to
head.
pipeline system. And yet,
yes?
all of a sudden, we can't forgive a crotch grab tweet from how many years ago, but we can forgive. Yeah, you put us all in jail. Yeah, you called our people animals. Yes, you said where we live was jungles. Yes, you sat there on a Senate
Not
floor and
jungles.
said, are you willing to allow your mothers, your grandmothers, your daughters to get harmed by Black people? But we're going to forgive that. Miss
I
me.
didn't forgive
This
it.
is
I
why
just didn't
I
want
say,
orangutan in there.
y'all get what y'all, this is what y'all wanted. Now y'all got what y'all wanted. Inflation's out of control.
It's gonna get worse.
Our
too.
defenses are out of control. The
That's
deficit
because
is out of
orangutan
control.
took away the money for the military. But he loved military though.
I can't even. Out of control. The
Well,
tariff now, the
I
equality in the tariffs that were being set in place, gone because his son is too busy making money, and all the rest of them folks making money off the Chinese people. We're giving billions away over to
Wait, hold on.
Ukraine.
Wait, hold on. They all make money. Let's not do that. Because Ivanka and her husband was over there
Yep.
making money too.
Sure
Let's
enough.
not do that.
They were
The truth.
they
Now
were
that's
being
damn
taken
true.
to court by the
That's why they gotta
UAE
go to court now.
in at the Southern District of New York for laundering money over
Hell,
there
if
in the
my
Middle
daddy
East.
was in
I'm
office,
gonna
I'd
wait
be
for that
making
one. I'm
money
gonna
too.
wait for them to finally find something that they
Okay.
haven't
which
mirrored and projected over to actually stick. Because
These were
Listen,
if
I'm not mad at the hustle. If my daddy was in office, I'd be making money too. Don't get mad. Listen,
But
don't
you
get
know
it
what the
twisted.
difference is? Let me tell you the difference. Let me tell you the difference. Those people were private citizens. Their father
Exactly.
was a private citizen. The minute he came into office, he divested himself of being oversight of those companies.
not
These
really.
people, yes, he did. These people have been in office for decades. Joe Biden has never held an actual job in his whole goddamn life.
I'm not
His
going to
Wasn't he?
disagree
son
with
is
Did he
a
that
go
point.
law school?
crackhead. His son is a crackhead that screws
True.
whores.
That's
Yes, I
true.
said it.
Oh, baby.
We don't know his butt from a hole in the ground. We should be
I'm
happy
not
he
going to
knows
disagree
what the
about that.
goddamn day is. And yet, he's in these places overseeing
Mexico. He's in
oil
Mexico too.
companies and all this stuff. Wait, nigga, where'd you learn it?
Oh, Lisa's in rare form today. She's not with the shenanigans of the
Where
queen
did
Listen,
yet.
I'm
you
not going to
learn it?
argue that point because that point is
Yeah,
true.
but
I'm not going to argue that
but
point.
He
wasn't
been
But
taking,
I
he
will
been on
not.
private planes with his father, talking about, oh yeah,
Donald
you
was
can be
with
my
Jeffrey
daddy. You can
Epstein?
be
And
my
what about
daddy. He's the
Donald and
vice
Jeffrey
president.
Epstein?
Come on, stop it. So my point is that the people that are in office, and there's people on both sides of the aisle, if your family, while you are in office, is profiting from behind the scenes deals with other countries that may or may not be of interest and can leave you open to potential blackmail,
And he
bribery,
did
and
that.
other stuff, then I'm
Orangey
going to
did
need
that.
you to miss me with this, oh, but they had over there.
Orangey did
They were
that
private
though.
citizens.
Wait,
Private
Corey.
Orangey did that
citizens.
though. Orangey did that though with the hotel he just sold for $300 million in DC. He did that. They
And so he made money.
foreign leaders stayed at that hotel thinking they could curry favor with that orange man in that office.
Child, if you gonna get upset about a damn hotel stay, I got
Uh-uh.
plenty of
Not
stuff to
only
show
that,
you.
we still
Plenty of
he
stuff to
he
show
built
you where there's real
millions.
currying.
He built millions out of the US government staying in his damn hotels instead of where he was supposed to have stayed
This is my
when he
point.
was
Y'all
president.
worried about the wrong ish.
You know what? I
Y'all worried
cannot
about
Hey,
the
hold on, hold on,
I
hold on,
wrong
cannot
hold on,
say
guys. They
stuff.
all screw whores. They all screw whores. So let's not even hold that
exactly.
against them. They all do it.
Exactly.
Cause Donald was on a
Y'all
plane with
worried
What I
Jeffrey
about the
Epstein on
wrong
Dead Island.
stuff.
I know I did not want him back in office, so that's where my vote went
It's so
to
great.
Potato
So
Head,
this is what you get then.
and that's what I
This
get.
is what you get. You
I'm
get
glad
high
that he's not in
inflation. You get
office.
food shortages. You get all these other things that are
It was
happening.
food
You get
shortages
money
under him.
taken away. You get all these things. Still
Formula
don't get
shortage.
any to level of reparation. Still don't get any level of honest help. Still don't get any level of anything except for just go over there and sit
Damn.
down.
So
That's fine if that's what you want.
They
But
all
miss me.
crackheads.
But miss me, not all, but miss me, some of them
I
actually do
can't
cocaine.
align
So
I
crack is
cannot
that.
align myself with either
Oh,
party.
cocaine. I'm sorry,
So
they all
But what I'm
cokeheads.
gonna
I
say
don't want
is
to hear because until you can honestly sit here and tell me about because I have all of it of how all these millions and millions of dollars have been funneled through Ukraine, through Russia,
yes,
and this
yes,
is
yes.
long before Orange Man Bad. How the drugs came into this country and how drug running and warmongering and money being made as a result of wars being created and started elsewhere in other countries for our profit. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
it
So, and
happened
on
on
both
both.
sides.
It happened
So
mainly on
I
the
don't want
Republican
to hear
side.
about a couple of $1 million somebody might have made in
It was more
China
than a couple.
because you're missing the point. There's been billions and billions and billions of dollars
Exactly.
or
I
even
know
funneled
that.
trillions.
through and laundered through foreign countries,
Exactly.
Ukraine.
not
I'm not
done
denying
by the
that.
man that just left office. So
I'm
you
not
cannot
denying that.
sit here and say, hold this man up here that has incarcerated so many of our own people
I'm
and
not
has
holding him in high standard.
you cannot hold him up as some bastion of
I never said that though.
amazing integrity
I never
and
said
want to
that.
holler about the fact that somebody's going to potentially go down for a few $1 million. Y'all
It's not a
holler about
few
the
million
wrong
dollars.
shit.
It's
No,
more than a
no,
few
heart,
million
heart.
dollars.
I think she's saying they're both devils. It's just which one is the lesser
Exactly.
devil in
That's
her
what I'm
opinion.
saying. He was the
Potato
You
lesser
is
can't
the
of the
compare
less
two
the two.
devil.
evils. He
You
was
can't
the
compare the
lesser of
two.
the two devils.
This
You
is why I
can't
like
compare the two.
Malcolm X. Malcolm X greatly explains this. The white liberal is more dangerous than the white conservative is due to the fact that the white liberal is more deceitful. They have a
I
massive
already
We
know that.
dirty.
Sebastian, I already know that.
Wait,
I'm born black in America. I'm born black and indigenous in America. I already know that. What
wait,
I'm
Sebastian.
talking about is I cannot align myself with either party. But what I will do is I will vote for the lesser of two evils that I feel
Right.
is
But that,
right.
but that's
But what
not the
I'm not going to do, I'm not going to fall in that GOP trap that they try to pull on us all the time. I'm not
Because
doing
you're
that.
already in the Democratic trap.
I'm not in the Democratic trap either. I know they ain't crap either.
But you
Smoke. You
just
have a
voted.
question for me,
So
Smoke?
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
the
yeah.
lesser of the two that I feel I can deal with. I can lay my head down at night and
I'm
vote for.
cool. I get you.
Yes,
Okay.
I
Sebastian.
get
I was just asking if you could finish that point because I don't know exactly what you were talking about. So what were you
the Malcolm
saying?
X quote.
The
Yeah,
Malcolm X quote, where
yeah.
he said how like the difference between the white liberal and the white conservative is that the white liberal is more deceitful than the white conservative. They're
Hmm.
they're more vicious than the white conservative. They'll tell you they're your friend. They'll love you. They'll show you that they love you, but behind your back, that's not what they're doing.
All the Republicans do the same thing.
That's not the response.
And the only
That's not the
love that I
response.
see is green, honey.
The
Green. Because that's
and
the
the
only
green's
thing that
leaving in
matters.
your pocket. Like the green is leaving your pocket and not going into your pocket. My point is that, and Chocolate Earth's point earlier, and I think this is the point we can all agree upon, hopefully, is we
I
need
disagree.
our own. We need our own.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah,
tired
agree.
of
until they come
looking
burn
to
it down.
people to give us something they're not going to give us.
We
I'm
did that
tired of
back in the
looking.
day. And they
I'm
burnt them
I'm
down to the ground.
I'm tired of looking to that. I'm
Yeah.
tired. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And again, the point to me is that if you are looking at this situation and not seeing where we are being baited at every turn,
We are. I
so
agree.
that we get distracted from what's really going on behind the scenes. Now, someone brought up a point about whether or not, Hunter's addiction is a problem, or I'm looking at the wrong point. The only reason I brought that up is this, because when you have the son of a senator, a vice president, a president, anyone in that high office, and you have them doing dealings, and then you also have things that are potentially blackmailable offenses, that compromises
The
the
country.
person in power.
We must have
That's
forgotten about the Bush
reality.
twins because they was wilding. The Bush twins were wilding. They had
Man,
plenty
and,
of blackmailing offenses.
Yes.
absolutely. Jimmy, you can go all the way back to Jimmy Carter's brother. That they
Betty
were like, oh, what about blackmailable potentially, and what Billy did wasn't really, he was a drunk. But I mean, okay. But what he did, even go back to the Kennedys. The whole reason Chappaquiddick got covered up is because Teddy Boy, they could not afford to have that kind of stain on the Kennedy name.
Yeah.
So you have to be concerned about what's going on familially in order to be sure that your leaders are not able to be compromised because of family foreign interests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because money, truly, you're right, Corey, that's all they care about, money and power. And so if this is the situation, there's a lot of dirty hands overseas, a lot of dirty hands. And we historically have created a lot of these crises or put people in power and what. Now we're getting way off topic, but put people in power for our own interests and then created things so that the war machine and the war economy could continue to rage on.
Yeah, of course. Let's not act like we're a peaceful nation because we're not.
We sure not.
I'm just saying.
Ooh, child, we done been all around the Mulberry Bush and back. Oh my goodness, I done pulled a conscious TV link.
Actually, I want to say
yes,
something.
you did. That's yes, you did. That's all your fault. Oh well.
Go ahead, Sebastian.
Okay, student loans should not be forgiven. That's on period.
Oh,
Sebastian, kiss my ass.
Sebastian, you know what?
Kiss my ass, Sebastian.
Leave the chat. Leave the chat, Wendy.
Sebastian,
Leave the
I
chat,
love
Wendy.
you, baby, but I'm going to put you on timeout, my love.
Why do you think? Why do you have that stance?
Wait,
This is
did
very
your parents
interesting.
pay for
Let's hear it.
Could your parents afford to pay for you?
Come on, Sebastian.
No, my
Bring
parents
it.
I actually do have loans myself. By the time I finish,
How much do you owe?
And
How much do you owe?
Wait, Lola, wait a minute. I want to hear what he has.
By the time I finish pre-med and go to med school, I will owe at least $300,000 in loans.
Jesus.
So the thing is, it's not the government's fault that you took out a loan and went to college and got a degree that would not produce you anything. So it's time for people to get on their ass and work hard to pay off of what they asked for.
But you know your parents went to school for much cheaper than what we're going for school, right?
No.
You do know that. They got the
I
same
agree.
accounting degree that you're getting, or whatever other degree, teaching degree, for example. I'm gonna use a teacher because they earn like nothing in this country. Your parents went to school for like $300 a credit or less a semester, and they were able to reasonably afford to go to school and pay it back.
And work part-time doing it at the same time.
Live below the line, so don't do that. Do not do that. If they were able to do it then, why not now? Why is it $500, $600 for a textbook? That is ridiculous.
When you live in a government that gives you loans and stuff to go to school and all these things, that's a little tiny hint of socialism. They have that right.
That is not
to take everything back. That's where it comes.
See, you're going to medical school.
You said the S word.
So I have a question for Sebastian. Sebastian, so what if let's say tomorrow doctors become obsolete and there's no need for them and you have no job in your field to pay back that 300,000 plus loans? You would still feel the same way about, oh well, I'll just get another job to pay off your student loans?
Yes, I would, because it was my
And what job will do that? And what job will help you pay off $300,000?
Hold on, let him finish. Lola, let him finish.
It was my responsibility. I'm the one who took them out. I'm the one who took them out for my intentions. And anything they always have a cost. Nothing comes for free. Everything has a cost. And the cost was maybe my career won't be available in the next couple of years. That's the cost.
A
Child,
reasonable cost. It should be a reasonable
um,
cost.
it was Bush Jr. that cut the Pell Grant. Had they not cut the Pell Grant, a lot of people would not have had to take out these loans to better themselves to move this country forward.
Well, it's that plus the fact that private and public now, but private first, education escalated at an astronomical rate.
Mhm.
Even like I was going when I was in college, it started in 1985. I attended Northwestern University.
How much was it a semester, if you don't mind my
I'm about
asking?
to tell you. I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you. I'm about to tell you. So it was $10,000 for the academic portion, and I got a full academic scholarship, and then I think it was like another 5 to 6 to live
Okay.
on the dorms and everything like that. So it was still very expensive by 1985. By the time I left, or by the time I ran out of money, because Reagan actually was the first one to cut the grants.
Mhm.
Trust me, I remember.
I believe you.
It was 17,000 for just tuition for the year. Then this is 1989.
Wow.
Okay.
And my scholarship did not grow with it. They left my scholarship at 10K. So by the time I got to that point, there was a lot of things that happened, and I could no longer afford to attend school and graduate with a biochemistry degree at that point. Now, fast forward to, oh God, when was Alicia about to go to? She's 28, so 10 years ago, she wanted to go to like design school or something like that. And then 10 years ago, to go to a private school,
Right.
design school was 60K.
Mhm.
A
Now
semester.
as I know for the year, now I understand. I'm scared to even know how much
It's
a
80.
private school costs.
It's
Mhm.
45 a semester.
So I think that there's a lot to be said for the fact that again has become its own economy
Yes,
that
yes,
is way out of line. Even state
that's how.
schools being 17, 18, 19,000,
Mhm.
20,000, whatever. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. What are my tax
Thank you.
dollars going for with a state school?
I agree with you.
I think
I don't.
that they should. It's hard for me to sit here and say that there shouldn't be some level of forgiveness. And Sebastian, I'll tell you why. I know that sounds very like unlike me.
It's a pyramid scheme. I'm just saying.
It
Saying.
is,
It
and
is.
no one. I don't care who you are. I don't care what degree you come out of. I don't care where you start working. No one
Right.
can afford to pay a mortgage on top of
And
another mortgage, on top
thank
of
you.
rent, on top of living. Like
I
that is
agree with
just
you.
Car
ridiculous.
note, food.
Like I don't. But that's a tough one because I don't know what do we.
Cell phone bills like
This
$100.
is my thing. If we can afford to send $40 billion overseas, we can spend that money right here and
That's
Yes.
what I'm
forgive
saying.
loans.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what
if
I'm
we're gonna
saying.
do that, if we're gonna take a deficit hit and make our grandkids, my grandkids, pay for this later on somehow, then at least keep it in house.
Right.
You
Not let
know,
others benefit for our sweat and blood and tears.
right?
And that's not socialism, Sebastian.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what is socialism. Free
Uh-oh.
college for all is
That
socialism.
is.
Getting
That
We're
loans,
is.
not we're not
getting
saying
help,
Now
that
that
though.
is.
We're not
getting
saying that.
getting things forgiven by the government is a form of socialism. You
They're
now
gonna pay it back though. And like just being
We're
able
paying
to
back
get
through
a
our
house,
taxes.
that's the thing
paying
about
taxes,
socialism.
like
That's the thing about socialism. Socialism is capitalism, evil twin, bitchy sister. It will come back somewhere and bite you harder.
Who's
man.
gaslighting millennials and Gen Zs? Because I don't know if I qualify as one of those
No,
old
not you. I
people.
think she's
I'm
talking in general. She's talking in
I'm Gen
general.
Z too. I'm Gen
No,
Z.
I'm trying to figure out if I qualify as an old person.
Nah, you good, girl.
I don't.
Me
I'm just
too,
trying to
Lord
understand
Heart.
what the comment was. Like, who
Well,
the
my
old
thing
people
is,
and who's
And the way
gaslighting?
he said
Hold up,
old
Sebastian.
people.
Hold up, Sebastian. You keep saying that people need to study something that's worth payment. Well, not everybody is qualified or wants to be a doctor. Not
no, I
everyone's gonna
didn't
be an
say that.
engineer.
I said
Hold up.
that
Not everyone's gonna be
it.
an engineer. Not everyone's gonna be a doctor or an attorney. You
Or
have
a
to
lawyer.
understand there's other facets in society that we need, like teachers who only make like 30 grand a year, but are
Or
in student
artists.
loan debt for like 80 grand. That's not right.
I
And a lot of them
agree
are
with
required
you.
to go back to school, like getting a master's degree, which costs like upwards of 50 G's. I know because
Mhm.
I got one.
I agree with you, but the fact is, you can't expect that degrees that are not in demand, you can't expect to get a degree that's not in demand or is going to be
But
a
what is the degree
future
that's not in
thing
demand to
to
you?
have
What
to
is
be
the
getting
degree that's
paid
not in
back to be
demand?
able to.
Well,
Um,
and honestly, Sebastian, it's going to take you forever to make that money to get that paid off anyway.
Bingo.
it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah.
the thing is,
No,
all
I'm
People
just saying,
died.
like, I don't feel like you're saying this from a place of you're gonna make, like, people really think that doctors or whatever, even lawyers,
they
They
like,
don't
are
make a
don't.
lot of
excited that
money.
they don't make a
don't.
lot of money. So I'm saying that to say I feel like your feeling on this is valid in the fact that you are going into this knowing. Speaking of, here's my doctor's telling me that I've got an appointment in a couple of days. Anyway, but that you're saying that from a valid point, right? Like a perspective of, going into this, you're not going to make this money like
Yes,
anytime
I
soon,
would
especially because you're going to have malpractice insurance and
Oh,
all
that's
sorts
gonna
of
get you in
different
the
things.
ass. Malpractice
100.
So I
gonna get you
feel
in
like
the
your
ass.
point, like you're speaking of this as someone that knows they're going to have this like huge amount to repay.
My point is that it's your responsibility. It's yours. You took it out and you should realize that it came at a cost. That's the thing. Also, another thing is if you can't afford to go to a prestigious private school, go to a community college. We need to break the stigmas
That's
about
still
colleges.
expensive too,
It's
though.
still
That's still
expensive. It's still
expensive.
It's
expensive.
very cheap.
But also, Sebastian, with that, for most entry level positions, they now I would say have a minimum requirement of a
Of a
bachelor's degree,
BS.
Or an
degree
MS or a master's.
Transfer,
or a
Even.
master's. So even if people
transfer.
do not
After going to
decide,
community college, transfer.
But it's still
You
It's
can't
expensive.
get
still
caught.
College is
expensive,
already expensive.
Sebastian. Let me tell you this. I got an AS degree. And do you know how much it costs me per year for 2 years?
We're waiting. How much, honey?
Oh,
About $20,000.
ooh,
So, and
An AS.
that was in 2000 and I want to say 8-9 is when I got my AS.
So this is what I'm going to say because y'all, my dinner's ready. So not to cut everybody short, I love y'all, but I'm gonna go eat.
I hear that.
hi y'all, I gotta go too. Take
All
Okay,
right,
care,
love
honey.
everyone.
you.
Okay, thanks, honey. We'll fire this up again soon. Um, I mean, I see that people are saying that we can thank the people, those of us who were in the 70s and 80s, for not paying that back. I don't think that's fair. A
I don't
lot
think
of
that's
us
fair at
did pay
all.
them back. What we can thank
Wow.
is the fact that education, much like what were we talking about earlier, pharmaceuticals and all these other, they became an economy, a runaway economy in and of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, then when you have like situations where, okay, we're going to make sure that the banking industry said, okay, well, we're going to have the parents guarantee these loans and co-sign on them. This is back in the 80s. So this is before there was a whole lot of potentially people defaulting on their student loans.
Mm-hmm.
That, my parents had to sign for it. Well, now you've got somebody that's already working, signing for the education for someone that isn't yet working. You're going to get your money either way it goes. So this became its own like behemoth, and it's out of control. I just feel like there needs to be more of a control in the
Thank
costs
you. Yeah.
somehow, while not making it socialistic, because the other side to the socialistic coin is this, is that
Right.
in countries where the education is paid for, as much as we hate these standardized tests, most of those countries also have testing in the 8th grade to
Mm-hmm.
determine whether or not your child is intelligent enough or has the
Right.
propensity enough to be able to go and become a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, or basically you're going to be over here because we don't think you're smart enough to become, and your fate is set. There's no like, I'm going to choose later
Right.
on to go down this
Yeah, it's like
professional,
that
if
in,
you will,
like
track.
Asian countries. Asian countries are like that.
And European, no, actually, it's just European, all over Europe. All over
Mm-hmm.
Europe, that's how it is too.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
don't mind
tested in the
paying. I just want to be
8th
reasonable.
grade. So there's pros and cons to all of this. That is a whole nother, whether or not it should be. That's a difficult one for me because do I think that it would help the economy? Probably.
Well, we're already in debt. We're gonna be even worse, and then inflation's probably gonna climb even higher.
No, that's
I
not
agree
it.
with
What we're
you, which
saying
is
is like make it reasonable. I don't mind paying. I don't want to go for free. That's fine. I don't mind paying. That's not an issue. But make it reasonable, like it was for people before. Make it more reasonable. That's all I'm asking. I shouldn't have to choose between being able to afford to buy a home or being able
Pay
to
my
pay my
student
that.
loan.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be like that. Or I know people who don't want to have kids because they feel like they won't be able to afford it because they owe so much in student loan.
Mm-hmm.
Like it shouldn't be like that. That's all I'm saying. Like I don't mind paying. I think everyone should pay. It's just it should be reasonable. It shouldn't be like $200,000 just because you got a bachelor's degree. Like that's insane or something like that. Because I know people owe a lot of money.
right. So, Miss Shy Chick, this might be your first time in my chat.
Well, that's spicy.
Right. So, believe me, I don't come without having done either homework or having lived it. And
I
if
know
I
that's
don't
right.
know it, what I will do, however, is say, I don't know. In fact, earlier, 3 hours ago, I said, I don't know, I think. Can someone do research? And we ended up with research. So, having lived it and whatnot, I don't come without knowing what I'm
Right.
talking about. And there are quite a few people past the 70s and 80s that didn't pay their student loans, A, and B, you're not
That's
even
true.
discussing the fact that this has become an entire out of control economy on its own. There is
Mm-hmm.
absolute having attended a private college, I can assure you that the educational level there is not necessarily better than what you're going to get at a state school.
Right.
You're kind of taught to be a manager and not to be a doer, and which is fine in one sense, but I believe everybody should know what the hell they're doing before they try to manage somebody. That's my
Amen.
business.
Right. Right.
So I'm fully aware of when these things happen.
And
So I do my research.
they haven't
I
even improved the school or education. Like they charge so much money, but I don't
well,
think they've improved it much. And even
well,
professors don't
if
get paid
that's
that much.
okay, I'd like to step in. I've been listening
Go
to
ahead,
you
baby.
ladies
Go
talk
ahead,
about
baby.
the. Thank you very much. Um,
I can't
you
with y'all, man.
know what? Oh, this is me 24 hours a day. I talk in my sleep when I do go to. Wait, that's not the point. All right. So I've been listening, and I know that when we look at what needs to happen next and how, okay, let's change, we have all of these different things to keep us weighed down in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
The reason loans are even a part of the equation, it's a money maker.
Mm-hmm.
A school makes money to encourage you to take out a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest with that. These things that have been created have been made up by people who shaking the hands of other people. And then you stand behind government this yet no, it's just other humans making decisions for other humans based on their own biases.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the people that's underneath that hierarchy has to deal. But
Mm-hmm.
this is why you have, like, for instance, I am a fan of South Korean culture. My sister got me into it. Now, if you are married, let's say if you married or you decide that your child is Korean, so on and so forth, or you want them to learn about their culture, right in Washington D.C. is a South Korean school for little kids. They go
Mm-hmm.
there and they go to elementary school. So they're doing this, as a duality. We are so focused on that part of it. When they started taking out trades, I understand everybody don't want to get dirty
Mm-hmm.
when they work. I get that. I'm a woman that has always been down to put my hands in the earth, because no matter what we do, that's our foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so here we are at this precipice. And to me, I feel like it's the big squeeze. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
start pushing people into their corners. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. It goes back to what you said on your the art on the channel. The chaos. There's Jeff Bezos did not become a billionaire because people started buying. They just went Bucky crazy. We were inside. Yeah, people like ordering from Amazon, but it skyrocketed and
Mhm.
put one person in a position to say that they're worth in this country billions of dollars.
Mhm.
We don't, this all goes back to what I said before. Yes, we've had communities that were attacked, burned down, so on and so forth, but they kept going. And it's like we stopped. We can open our own bank. You can, the sad thing about it is because the grifters and the people that's playing games are the squeaky wheels, not the quiet revolutionaries like myself. Because I didn't believe in, you don't, keep your plan together. But now we're at this place where the things that are important in our lives, that's not the way it should be.
Mhm.
And we got the opportunity to do it. And
Mhm.
I know a lot of people are afraid of that. I get that part. And I'm not talking about for anybody that may think I am, just to clear that up. It's not about being a separatist, not about being a segregationist, any of that. Other cultures take care of the people within their culture. Like that math is not hard to wrap your head around. But yet
Mhm.
and still we fight about the things because it doesn't matter. To Hart's point in the beginning, we don't own nothing. And so if we had our own colleges, not the ones we have now, I ain't knocking the HBCUs, but I think they should have been ran differently. But our own elementary schools, our own trade school, every child don't want to go to college or sit in a classroom. They need the other things. It's like we've completely negated it and allowed these particular people to run where our futures are. When is that enough? So I leave
Mhm.
with that. I leave with that.
I I'm with you 150%. And I've created this stream. I love how where it's gone. Um, but I created this stream and titled it "Courage in the Midst of Chaos" or "Courage in Chaos" because we have to be courageous enough, you all, to not only have these conversations, but to be willing to do something with these conversations. We have to be courageous enough to step outside whatever the bubble is and hear from everybody else and then come to a place where we can actually agree, because I actually love having these debates. Like I absolutely, in case you haven't figured that out, I love it because I love the exchange of ideas. Because from that can come some conclusion and some concrete points of actual of action, right?
Mhm.
So we might not be able to solve the student debt issue here, but what I'm hoping is that we can create these conversations to say, you know what, in the midst of all the craziness that they're trying to create, the fear, the this, the that, that is happening all around, that we can take a step back and say, as humanity, what can we do, right, within our own world, in our own spaces, to make this a better place and not fall into that. A huge part of that for me is if you can be an entrepreneur, if
Yes.
you can start somewhere, right? I would love to see alternative, even hospitals, Sebastian, and things
Yes.
in
I
medical centers
agree. 100%.
where we can have,
Yes.
I don't want less of regulation, maybe not is the right way to put it, but where it's back to like neighborhood physicians
Yes.
and nurses
Mhm.
that care about the neighborhood and that we can go to without getting charged an arm and a leg where healthcare is
Yes.
actually attainable. I don't
Yeah.
think that we should be having to pay for this for the education. Like, should not be as high as it is. Crazy. Like,
Thank
what am
you.
I gonna have to do? Like, sell a kidney in order for my one grandkid to go, and then I gotta maybe get on dialysis for the second? I don't know.
But
You know what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
thing.
Like,
It's like you have to. You're now put in a place, and that's what I mean. Like you're in a place where you have to make these decisions. Like, what am I leaving behind? Right?
right.
We all believe. Well, for me, I believe legacy is what you leave behind. I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know.
Right.
We all agree that. But while I'm here, though,
Right.
while I get to wake up every day and I tell my sister this, if we see the sun and the sirens ain't going off, I got time.
Right.
Because it's like, I think of it like this. If there are 22, what did they say, 22 or 23, I might be wrong, million women currently in the country, okay? If all of us, not even half, took $1 and put it in one spot, how many people's bills you could take care of
Right.
in one swoop? Our collective, we don't think collectively, even though we don't do anything alone.
Right.
We wouldn't be having this debate or meeting each other or having the opportunity to have these conversations in spaces that we create if somebody hadn't created it.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize. I'll be going.
No, you're right.
I know you said you was getting ready to go eat your food. I'm just saying I'm just passionate about life because I've unfortunately had situations where I almost lost mine.
Yeah.
So, and not even before those situations happened, I loved being outside. I loved being around other people, my people. You know what I mean? I loved, the conversations and the neighborhood. I grew up, even though it was in the hood, it was a neighborhood. It was a close-knit neighborhood.
Yeah.
If you lost your key, you could go over to Miss Pam's house and wait for your mom to come home. We don't have that anymore.
No, we don't. Thank you, Carolyn, for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, dear.
So I'm done. Thank you so much. Always.
Thank you.
Miss Chi apologized to you. She told she didn't.
I
she didn't
saw
mean to
that. Yes, thank you, Miss Shy Chic. Thank you. I nodded to you, but if you didn't see it, thank you very much. And yeah, I try not to be nasty. Like, that doesn't help anything. Now, does it? That's just that's ridiculous. And I understood your 30K in debt. I get that. Like, that's a mountain of, right? That's just a mountain of debt.
I'm right behind her with that 30K.
Only
That's a
fans
mountain
can
of
pay
debt.
that off.
It is a mountain of debt. I agree 100%.
Yeah. Control your world, stop letting other people control yours. Can we just do that?
Mm-hmm.
We just got to stop that. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Carolyn. I thank you so much. I want us to all find courage in the midst of this chaos. I want you to look behind the scenes and make sure you understand the reason, like at least investigate the reason why certain things are happening and the timing of these things happening.
Yes.
I want you, now, I can't leave y'all without a little astrological discussion either. I want y'all to pay attention because over the next 28 days, there's certain things that are happening, especially over the next 2 weeks, where we're going to see karma. We're going to see a karmic debts being repaid either by choice or by force. So, and I believe we're going to see this on a very global scale. So that's why I say, when I say these things are not done, we're not done. There's certain repayments, changes, things getting torn down, things getting exposed to us that we've never seen before. And so I want you all to pay attention to the who and the what and the why behind the what has happened, because it's going to be imperative for you to understand how to move. But always know that if you choose to create your own world, I don't care what's going on. I don't care how much inflation is happening. I don't care whatever. And y'all might think, oh, this lady is a bunch of woo-woo and crazy. I am not. Because let me tell you something, all my bills are paid. I have access when I go to the grocery store, whatever I need, want, and desire is there, and it should be on sale. And I am not going to fall into fear and allow that to control me, no matter what happens.
Yes, this is the time to plan. Oh, I'm so sorry. Never mind. Okay.
No, you're right. So let's on a positive note, and then I really am gonna ask y'all to say to let everybody know where they can find you and all that. But in these types of economic times, this might sound horrifically capitalist, but I'm gonna tell you, millionaires are made right now. Millionaires are made during these tough economic times because they
You
have
have
the
never
foresight.
lied. You have never
They have
lied.
the foresight to maneuver in ways outside of the
Mhm.
system that is
Yep.
crumbling so that they can then come in and reap those benefits. And hopefully the next set of millionaires I'm talking to and we're calling in, and we will all be very concerned with what is of the greater good and not solely concerned what is of our own. Now, do y'all want to let the people know? I know Lola and Corey have a channel on their own, and I'm going to put that link in the chat. Do y'all want to let people know about your channel, Miss Lola and Miss Corey?
Sure.
Hey,
Our
y'all.
channel.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. Go on, sis. Go on.
You've been quiet for a while. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I was trying to say I put the link in the description. I think Heart, I sent you the link as well. Heart, thank you so much for having me on, man. You always have amazing conversations. I love talking to you, and you always come from a positive place and a very like wise place. You know, I feel like talking to you is like talking to one of my aunties.
I so
One of
enjoy
my
having
young 30-year-old aunties.
you.
Because you said
I
somebody was
very
trying to
much
call you old earlier. That's why I was.
no, that we passed that now. We all right. Y'all see how I get when people are like, "Oh, who's old?"
Yeah,
Oh,
your ears perked up real fast. She was like, "Who out?"
not me. But thank you very much, and Corey, thank you very much, and
No
we will
problem. Thank you.
in the coming few days. I feel like I want to have this discussion on your channel, to have this discussion about various levels, various spiritualities, and our
Okay.
culture.
You are welcome anytime you want.
Time.
Let's do that very soon. Thank you guys so much. Sebastian, have you started a channel yet, or are you just hanging out? What you doing?
I'm hanging for now. I don't know if I'll start a channel yet. It's still a thought. It's something I'm still debating on.
Okay. All right. Well, as soon as you do, baby, we ready for you. We ready.
Sebastian, I just want to let you know I still love you. I'm sorry I got a little loud earlier.
I love you, but I love you too, boo
Love you.
boo.
It's okay. I think that if I do start a channel, I will definitely let you guys know, and I will bring my shade, actually my whole tree, to everyone.
Not the shade tree.
See, that's why I love you.
We're gonna be ready for it, baby. We're gonna be ready for it. Waiting. And my dear sister,
Diego Tasha K style.
now why you gonna have to say
Right,
that
you
woman's
had to ruin it.
Let's
name?
tell the truth though now.
As long as you tell the truth and don't lie and defame people,
That's
I'll
what I
be
say.
totally fine with Tasha K style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how I'll do it. I'll do it like that. I'll tell the truth, but I'll do Tasha K style.
All
Just
right.
don't defame people. That's all I ask. And
Well,
then
they better
expect
not
us to
defame
come
their
to
own
your
character.
rescue. Because I ain't coming.
They better not defame their own character.
Well, defamation is different than them defaming their. If they do it to themselves, that's one thing. Is when you're lying on people and then you stick to that lie and continue to stick to that lie and terrorize people. That's a problem. That's a
And call
problem.
it the machine.
Child, you see I ain't go running.
Mm-hmm.
You built it. Anyway, but Sebastian, you have your own unique way of shading
Dragging.
that is epic. Okay.
We love you for it too.
We need to hear it. 'Cause you can shade a Sherry Shepherd, boy. Woo, child, I have to sit back. I ain't mad at you though.
No, I don't shade her. I don't shade her. She just got to make sure that she take care of her child. That's the only thing.
Okay.
The same way Nick Cannon should take care of his
But he
child.
don't he pay his support?
Girl, don't even do it.
Okay. Wait a minute. I don't see. I'm not hip on that. Let me get out of that.
Yeah,
Oh, Miss
yeah.
Shashi. Oh, something from Sherelle's world. Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk about that another time, baby. We'll talk about Nick Cannon and his children and his baseball team over there.
Yeah.
Miss Chocolate Earth Foundation. Can you please let us know where we can find you, darling?
I'm neutral.
I am honored to. It has been a pleasure with you, ladies and gentlemen. Just under Chocolate Earth right now. So Chocolate Earth is I'm on YouTube, and you can find me also on Twitter. I think Chocolate Earth Twitter, but I'm not using that. So basically, just go to my YouTube channel. I have the videos and stuff up of what I'm trying to do, which is to purchase land to get greenhouses up before the winter, because it's gonna be hard. So that's where you can find me. Yeah, that's it. And I thank you, ladies and sir. I've definitely enjoyed talking to you guys.
It's always a pleasure, Chocolate.
And the respect. That's how you change the game. Is that more of us treat each other with respect. I don't have to agree with you, but I should want to respect you.
Amen.
Absolutely. And for us to listen and share each other's points of view, like we all get loud. We passionate. Okay, that's just how we roll.
Exactly. I don't apologize for my passion. And that's another thing too. When you feeling, you know what you want to do at some points in time in your life. There's some people who come here and go, yeah, I want to be a doctor. They're great at it, so on and so forth. The different things that have been created that we can express ourselves with. And then there's some people that are entrepreneurs and can see that long term. And these are the people that actually really run the world, because they play the long game.
And I think more of us can. We just don't do it.
We can do it. Yeah. But again, here's the thing and I leave with this. Everybody's not going to get on the train. And we have to be okay with that. Yeah. We can't spend time trying to convince people that don't want to be convinced, because there's a lot of people that's comfortable with the shenanigans. Yeah. Case in point, why we go through what we go through as a country. There are a lot of people who want to put their head in the sand and move on. So the fact that we can even have these conversations is doing so much. And now I be a good night.
So that was Virgo.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what she did back there, but she was playing with one of my bells.
I'm a Virgo.
Zodiacs are fighting again, huh?
But no, they're not actually fighting. Gemini's sleep. Virgo's like, oh, let me just tear up Mom's studio since she just hung everything up and just redid it. Let me just tear it up. Because the other one sleeps, so she'd fell off on her duty. Anyway, guys. All right, guys. Thank you all. Thank you. This has been a fabulous conversation. She's back here now. She hit the bell off of the thing, and now she's going to bat it around. I guess she's ready for me to be done. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. We are going to do this like more often now that I think my life has kind of calmed down a little bit. And because I love these conversations for us to have. And if you guys have anybody that's watching now or the replay have any ideas and topics that you would like for us to discuss, we'll be more than happy to do so. I will, in fact, be bringing some other things in from a spiritual standpoint as well, because I want us to be in tune with the energy as it's coming about. Okay. So I just want to thank you all. You all are wonderful. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to close it on out. I'm going to get you guys down here. We're going to close it on out, guys. We've had another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening. I want to thank you guys. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love each and every one of you. Namaste. Bye, gang.